soundtracks of any sporting arena. The Tartan Army belting out Flower of Scotland. And besides the piper there was a girl performing the anthem in sign language, and you don't need to do sign language to get "think again" as she points her finger to her temple. Think again, Pat Nevin.
Absolutely. It was one of those ones where it's always stirring, but also it can be sometimes a lament, that song, and you do worry about that sometimes with the Scotland. And by the way, underline a lot of Polish people here tonight, and Scotland's got a very, very large Polish population that lives here, and they're very well integrated and they're very well liked within the Scottish nation, so it's a lovely, friendly feeling in the stands tonight.
Yeah, when the Nations League first arrived as a concept, Scotland were originally in the third league of it. They were promoted up to the B League. Now they're up in the A League. They're with the big boys, as well as Poland in this group, Croatia and Portugal to come. Stern demands for Steve Clarke as he looks to get this team back on track after a disappointing showing at the European Championships. Here's the rundown of the teams. Angus Scott in goal for Scotland, the Norwich City keeper. Back four of Anthony Ralston, Grant Hanley, Scott McKenna and Andy Robertson. Billy Gilmour alongside Kenny McLean of Norwich in the midfield. Then an attacking three, John McGinn, Scott McTominay, who's joined Napoli along with Gilmour, and Ryan Christie of Bournemouth in support of the striker Lyndon Dykes up front. For Poland, they've got Marcin Bulka in goal. He's the Nice goalkeeper, used to be on Chelsea's books, never made a senior appearance at Stamford Bridge during his time there. He's part of the Poles' new generation. This is just his second cap. Jan Bednarek, we know well, of Southampton. Davidovic alongside Japko Kiwior of Arsenal as part of a three-man central defence. Kiwior, who's yet to play for Mikel Arteta this new season. He might be a little bit rusty. Nikola Zavelski is the left wing-back from Roma. Przemysław Frankowski on the right-hand side plays for Lens in France. In the midfield there's a three, Sebastian Szymanski, Piotr Zielinski of Inter Milan, and Kasper Urbanski, who also plays in Italy with Bologna. And then a very strong-looking front two, Robert Lewandowski, we know all about him, and Christoph Piatek, who plays in Turkish football these days, but he's got a very good international and club goal-scoring record. He's already got 8 goals in the 9 games he's played for Istanbul Başakşehir so far this season. The referee tonight's from Sweden, Glenn Nyberg. He's wearing sky blue down there. We're about to get started. This 7:45 kickoff on this Thursday evening in Glasgow. The start of another campaign for Scotland. The start of another international football week on 5 Live. Wales, who play Turkey tomorrow. England in Dublin to face the Republic of Ireland on Saturday. Scotland in the same kit that they were wearing at the Euros, navy with the white and yellow trim as the ball goes off John McGinn and out for the first throw into the game for Poland. Poland, who are wearing all red, and it's a throw in for them and for Jakub Kiwior.
Yeah, just having a look at the Scotland lineup there. We want to know who was playing beside Gilmour. It could have been McTominay, it could have been Christie, it could have been McGinn, but we guessed right, it's Kenny McLean.
As Ryan Christie wins possession away from Lewandowski inside the centre circle. Scotland don't hold on to it for very long. We can confirm, despite you thought there could be a little part of Steve Clarke that could be playing games with us and that McTominay might have been a defender, but he is playing in the attacking midfield role.
And it's what he favours in the last couple of seasons, particularly with Scotland and then with Manchester United afterwards. His goal scoring was he had a golden era for his career so far.
This is Group A1 of the Nations League. In Group C3 tonight at Windsor Park in Belfast, Northern Ireland are taking on Luxembourg, and they are underway with John Southall watching.
Good evening, Conor. Northern Ireland 0, Luxembourg 0. 3 minutes played. Bright start from Northern Ireland. Corner on the left-hand side. Marshall just got little touch, 6 yards out, straight at the keeper. Northern Ireland 0, Luxembourg 0.
McTominay surges forward for Scotland, crosses left-footed from the left-hand side. It fizzes in front of McGinn, who'd made the best run to get up into the penalty area, and it comes out the other side of the penalty area, much to Polish relief. But that is Scotland's first attack of the game, and it's only taken them 90 seconds.
Yeah, and it's a very good attack, and Scott McTominay using those long legs, flying up the left wing there. That was really neat play there between Scotland midfield, and that is the upside of playing a group of players who all know each other well. They know their capabilities, and Scott McTominay just loves it when he's allowed to go forward.
Scott McTominay, who has yet to make his debut for his new team Napoli, having left Manchester United, scored Scotland's goal at Euro 2024 against Switzerland. And you think back, through the qualifying campaign, what a regular contributor of goals that Scott McTominay was. His last 10 starts for Scotland, he's got 8 goals.
And I'm told that it was either 8 or 9 or 7 goals in 8 shots.
Wow.
Which is stunning.
Efficiency.
Exactly.
Yes. Poland of possession. Jakub Kiwior of Arsenal, who's got new competition with the return of Julian Timber now at the Emirates. He's always looked good though when he's had to come into Mikel Arteta's team. Kiwior. Nikola Zalewski of Roma, the left wing back who's played in all of Roma's opening games of their new Serie A campaign. He was in the team that drew 0-0 away at Juventus on Sunday. Scotland have it at the back. Kerry McLean just in amongst the defenders, tries to get away from Lewandowski, who might be getting on age. He turned 36 in August, but he was athletic, he was persistent there. He lunged in and ultimately fouled Kenny McLean midway inside Scotland's half.
Yeah, Kenny's a little bit lucky there. I don't think there was much in that. You get the benefit of the doubt for the referee there, but a few of the last central midfielder do not give the ball away because there's not going to be much behind you, so he has to learn to hold on to the ball. I was going to say as well as Billy Gilmour, that's a big ask, but almost as well.
McTominay with a smart turn in the middle of the midfield, and then he's challenged by Jan Bednarek, the Southampton central defender. Poland get it back again. They have it right wing back position with Frankowski. Good high press though from Scotland. Lyndon Dykes lends his considerable presence to the attack and forces Poland to retreat to the goalkeeper Bulka. Elsewhere in this group tonight, Portugal are taking on Croatia. We'll keep you up to date with any developments there. Zalewski cuts in off the left wing and is fouled by Billy Gilmour. Free kick to Poland just inside their own half.
He's a wee bit picky, the referee tonight. Okay, he may be a little bit nervous at the start of the game, but a couple of really easy free kicks given away there, and you're thinking to yourself, if you're a player, okay, every time we go down we'll get a free kick, and it can make it a bitty game, so I hope the referee lets it flow just a little bit more than he has so far.
Another campaign being embarked upon by Scotland this evening. The last time these sides met here, a friendly here at Hampden a year and a half ago. It finished 1-1. Kieran Tierney scored for Scotland. Christoph Piatek, who's in the polls, starting 11 tonight. He got a very late penalty for a 1-1 draw.
I do rate Piatek as a player. I think he's fabulous, but he's moved off from Inter now, hasn't he? And it's really hard to get a game at a very top club like that, but he is a classy player. He cannot be given space. Piatek,
who got a hat-trick on Sunday in the Turkish league against Antalyaspor. Here is Jakub Kiwior, left-hand side of the Polish defence. Zalewski tries to hook it in field, jumping Lewandowski, and he jumps with the much shorter Gilmour. And the referee blows the whistle. Offside. And it's come back for a free kick to Scotland. Yeah. Poland had crept offside.
They had crept offside, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But for Scotland's point of view, it's a really lively start. They have to start lively. They can't sit off a team like Poland because they've got a lot of quality players in there. But lively, sharp, getting the fans a little bit behind them. But having said all that, you're hearing some shouts in the background. Those are mostly Polish voices you're hearing there.
Yeah, Poland, who were also disappointed with their performance at the Euros in Germany in the summer. They were the first team to be eliminated, having been the last team to qualify. Poland knew they were going home 2 days before Scotland did. But both hoping now for fresh starts at the beginning of this Nations League campaign, which we described it for kick-up. We're definitely not going to do it again. But the way the Nations League operates, this could help Scotland in their attempts to qualify for the next World Cup, which is in Mexico, USA, in Canada. And I'm sure it didn't pass you by, Pat, that there was Mexican food in the press room before the game. Eyes on 2026 clearly here already.
Yeah, I was expecting Polish food, because they sometimes do that when you come to Scotland. They give the food of the country that's coming, but the Mexican stuff is very nice, spicy.
Yes, Tottenham Army would very much enjoy a trip to Mexico in 2026. You could be certain of that. They better bring the factor 50s. Let's go back to Belfast in just a moment, because Poland are on the attack here. Good little sidestep from Zalewski to get into the penalty area, but a shot with no pace on it at all. And Angus Scott is able to get down and technically make his first save of the evening, but that was going wide anyway. To Windsor Park, Northern Ireland, Luxembourg, and John Southall.
Still Northern Ireland 0, Luxembourg 0, but a great chance for Northern Ireland. Free kick on the right hand side fell to Dion Charles, 10 yards out, unmarked, into the ground. over the bar. Should have done better. Northern Ireland 0, Luxembourg 0.
Thanks very much, John. Scotland here looking for their first win in 5 games. Steve Clarke's side have only had 1 win in their last 12 internationals. That win was against Gibraltar. McTominay here rolls the ball back to Scott McKenna, who's playing his club football in Spain now. He was with Nottingham Forest. He went on loan second half of last season to Denmark to play with Copenhagen, but he's now with Las Palmas. Scott McKenna alongside Grant Hanley at the heart of the Scotland defence.
Yeah, that's a big call for them because Scotland are so used to playing with a back 3, 3 centre backs. One of them quite often would have been Kieran Tierney, but now it'd be nice to play as a back 2, take care of the centre forward, and he's not a bad player in Lewandowski, but so far they've dealt with it, but also playing out from the back, so it's not 2 centre backs that are stoppers, they're 2 players that play out to the back.
Rabatski with a good lunge to win possession for Poland. 0-0 at Hampden. Shot from distance, it's into the back of the net. What a strike! That's fantastic. Sebastian Szymanski of Fenerbahce, his 4th international goal. He was way outside the penalty area. He struck it to the goalkeeper's left. Gunn tried to get across. I think it kisses the post on the way in. It's a brilliant finish, and Scotland are behind with only 8 minutes on the clock at Hampden.
Yeah, behind and there's Billy Gilmour, who's caught in the ball, I believe, and he wants to hold on to the ball. He always wants to get it, but he's not got it out his feet quick enough there, and he was tackled in the midfield then, and as soon as you were the last man in midfield with the ball, McLean tried to make a tackle, but he went to ground early. So those 2 players lost that situation there, but there's still a lot to go there, and you've got to say that's nearly 30 yards out there. It zipped and bounced just beyond before the goalkeeper Gunn, and you just wonder, is he unsighted slightly? No, he's not unsighted. The ball just moves in the air. It's a great finish.
It is a brilliant goal. It is a long way out though, and it's a disappointment for Scotland to be so far behind. He smacked that, Szymanski. He used to play under Liverpool's new coach Arne Slot at Feyenoord in the past. He scored for his new team Fenerbahce in one of their Champions League qualifiers back at the start of this campaign, and he has given Poland an excellent start away from home here at Hampden Park. Poland, who've never lost on Scottish soil. Scotland 0, Poland 1. Sebastian Szymanski has scored early here, and there's an early goal in Belfast too. John Southall.
And what a start for Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland 1, Luxembourg 0, with all the young players in the side. It's the old head Paddy McNamara, 12 yards out, poked it into the bottom left-hand corner. Northern Ireland 1, Luxembourg 0.
Those 2 are in the same group as Belarus and Bulgaria, who are playing each other this evening. That's League C, Group 3. Here in Hampden, Scotland 0, Poland 1. Scotland who had a bright start, looking adventurous, trying to come forward. McTominay with one very good surge, but Poland showing the quality that they've brought here to Hampden tonight with that goal.
Yeah, and certainly Scottish fans will tell you they're used to McGregor being in that position. One of his 2 sitting midfielders. He rarely, if ever, gets caught in the ball, but he's no longer with the Scotland squad. He's retired from international football, and it would appear he has already been missed.
Early goal here, early goal in Belfast, early goal in Lisbon, where Portugal are playing Croatia tonight, the other game in this group, and Portugal have taken the lead. Manchester United's Diogo Dalot has scored it, assisted by his club teammate Bruno Fernandes. So Portugal 1, Croatia 0. Scotland, who play Portugal in Portugal at the weekend. Here is Grant Hanley, 10 yards inside his own half. Scotland looking to re-establish a bit of composure here, having been rocked by that early goal, and much of the noise, certainly all of the scarf twirling, is coming from the Polish fans away to our left-hand side.
To be fair, it was before they scored the goal as well, but at the moment Scotland have passed the ball kind of neatly, but not really causing any problems whatsoever. They're not getting up to the higher areas. They've not got the ball up to the likes of John McGinn, who's finally got it now. They need to get it to the top players at the top of the pitch as quick as possible.
Brilliant first touch from McGinn there, and a cross will come in from Robertson left-hand side. Dykes jumps for the goalkeeper. It was fumbled by Bulka, and he gets it back at the second attempt. And Lyndon Dykes was jumping into the keeper there. We don't have any video assistant referee for these stages of the Nations League, so that would have been allowed to continue had Dykes been able to scramble at the second time for the keeper, but Bulka was able to recapture the ball.
And if you're Dykes, you know that's a great opportunity, because Bulka drops it. The referee wasn't going to blow for that, but he wasn't able to react quick enough. The ball just slid out of his hands, went a yard away from the goalkeeper. he couldn't react quick enough, and that's, if you've only got one player in the box, that's the problem.
Well, Lyndon Dykes, who scored 35 league goals during his time at Loftus Road, he's left Queen's Park Rangers now. He's joined Birmingham City, who spent a lot of money this transfer window as they look to bounce back up to the second tier of the first attempt. Dykes, who's got 9 goals for his country, he'd love to get into double figures this evening. 12 minutes played at Hampden. Scotland 0, Poland 1. 5 live for the BBC on the opening night of the Nations League as Lewandowski stretches for the ball outside the penalty area. The Scotland attack away to our left, and McGinn comes in and out muscles him and comes away with possession. Plays a nice pass to his captain Andy Robertson, who brings it over the halfway line down Scotland's left. But the pass to Christie just seemed wrong. Christie had to really stretch to try and keep it in play, and such was that strange hesitation, it almost fooled the Polish defence, but in the end they managed to scramble it away. Cross from Christie from the left-hand side, but it's towards the back post from where it came, and there's no one there for Scotland, and it harmlessly goes out for a throw into Poland. Left full-back position for them. Scotland 0, Poland 1.
Well, Scotland on the left-hand side have been so incredibly dangerous over the last few years, and it's usually because you've got Robertson and Tierney working together. Robertson able to play as a wing-back, so his starting position is further forward. At the moment, starting left-back in a 4, it's a lot more distance, and he's not got a good understanding so far with Christie, but that can build.
Here comes Scotland again. Christie, little layoff, that was good. To McTominay, just outside the penalty area. He takes a tumble, free kick to Scotland. Inside shooting position, Jakub Kiwior of Arsenal, tripping the former Manchester United man. McGinn might be interested in this one. Gilmore too.
Robertson
shooting
possibly.
Opportunity. Yes, Robertson, of course. Yeah.
I mean, Robertson doesn't get many chances at Liverpool, let's be fair. There's a few free kick specialists ahead of him there. But this is, if you're going to score from this position, you would think Robertson with his left foot. He's in the near side here, the right hand side of the goal. Probably about 8 or 9 yards wide of the post, but only 20 yards out.
Andy Robertson, who played in Liverpool's impressive 3-0 win at Old Trafford on Sunday. He's only ever scored 3 times for his country. I would imagine if you allowed him to pick his spot here and choose anywhere, he would be very close to here, where he would say is an optimum range. So this is a chance for Scotland. Can they bite back, having conceded the early goal at Hampden tonight? Robertson's the only Scot standing over it. 4-man wall erected for Poland. It's a rehearsal. He rolls into McTominay. That was anticipated, and Poland are able to clear it. He rolled it short to Scott McTominay, but there was a Pole who could see that coming. I think it was Frankowski, and he was quick to nip it in and challenge McTominay, so no shot at the end. That's a bit disappointing, actually, given the position.
But the idea was good. I liked the idea of it. I mean, given the position, to be honest, if you'd looked around at me, I was shaking my head. I didn't think it was going to score from there. Just a little bit too wide there, and to get it up and down and a bit too close. So I think it was the right call to try and go for that, but wasn't quite executed quickly enough.
I'm not the person to tell Andy Robertson how to take free kicks, but his body language as he came up to the ball, you knew he wasn't going to shoot. At least disguise it if you're going to do that, right?
Exactly. That's why you leave 2 players around the ball to keep that question.
The decoy,
That's the mistake that Scotland made there.
Yeah. Another goal at Windsor Park in Belfast. Back to Jan Southall.
What about this? Northern Ireland 2, Luxembourg 0. Another set piece, this time on the right hand side, whipped in by George Saville, and there was Daniel Ballard to guide it in at the near post. Northern Ireland 2, Luxembourg 0.
Good start for Michael O'Neill's team this evening. Here Scotland have tried to come in another attack. They were into the penalty area. Bednarik slid in on McTominay. When the cross came back into the centre again, there was a free kick, I think, for pushing on the edge of the 6-yard box, and the Swedish referee gave the free kick to the Poles, who still lead by a goal to 0.
Yeah, Scotland got into a good position there, and the problem is getting enough players in the box, and Dykes was the one who pushed the defender there, and I think the referee was in perfect position to spot that. But it's imperative when Scotland get into those positions, particularly from the left, they need McTominay to get in there, they need McGinn to get in there to help Dykes out.
If you're joining our coverage late here, wonder strike from Sebastian Szymanski has Poland leading by a goal to 0 here at Hampden Park, still in the early stages. We've only played just over a quarter of an hour. Here come Poland on the attack. Zalewski tries to control it on the edge of the box, nipping in to challenge him, Celtic's Anthony Ralston, and then a foul is committed on McGinn on the edge of the Scottish penalty area, and that is a free kick to Steve Clarke's side.
Not happy for Ralston there. He's up against a very decent player there, obviously. Zielinski, he's got a couple of tricks in, but he's just not been faced by it at all. He knows he's got a man-to-man job. He's not going to get any help. He needs to do the business, and on that occasion, he managed it.
5 of the last 6 meetings of these nations have finished as draws. Poland with the early advantage tonight. McNamara rolling it back to Scott McKenna midway inside his own half. He'll give it on to Grant Hanley, who only played 10 games for his club Norwich last season. Back out to Robertson on the left-hand side. Back into McKenna in a more central position. Lewandowski comes forward to pressure him, and he turns and rolls it back to Angus Scott, who was in the Norwich team that got their first championship win of the new season on Saturday, winning by a 0-0 at Coventry amid much concern in that part of the world as to when that first win was going to come. That's good swing of the hips by Anthony Ralston to swerve away from Zalewski. Plays a good ball up to the feet of Lyndon Dykes. Gilmour now picks it up, wearing number 8 for Scotland. That's a change for him. He tries to play it infield towards McTominay. It's cut out in heavy traffic, and then McTominay, in his lunge to try and win possession back, commits a foul free kick to Poland.
There's a kind of obvious problem Scotland have got just now. They've not been bad over the last few years of playing it out for the back when they've had, 3 centre backs, 2 centre midfielders. There are angles, there are definitely players you can always find in midfield. At the moment they're playing it out from the back, they look as if they could get picked off. They've been picked off once already, lost a goal, but that back four playing into the midfield, I'm not convinced by it at the moment. I think they could get caught out once or twice more, because the Poles know exactly what they're doing, and they're laying traps on them all over the place.
Yeah, Billy Gilmour was the Scot who was pounced upon as Poland won possession high up the field in the build-up to their goal. So this is Davidovic, Pavel Davidovic, who plays in Italy with Verona. Alongside him, Peter Zielinski, who did really well when Napoli won Serie A, 8 years in Naples. He's recently joined Inter. Yet to make his debut for his new club. Playing here wearing number 10 for Poland tonight. It's become a little bit scrappy with another free kick given away here just inside the Polish half. This time a free kick for Scotland.
Scotland are struggling to get the ball into areas that Dykes can attack it in any way at all. He's a big, strong player. His physicality is his strength, and you need to get into positions, and Scotland don't look as if they're getting close to getting to the bylines and getting the ball back, so they're coming from right full-back areas, and the 3 centre-backs for the Poles seem to be lapping that up quite easily at the moment.
Robert Lewandowski provided the assist for Szymanski's goal. Lewandowski adding just a little sprinkle of superstar magic tonight. It is cap number 153 for him. Free kick to Poland here for a foul on the goal scorer Szymanski. But Lewandowski's got 83 international goals in those 152 caps before tonight, and he's looked as good as ever in these early weeks of the new season in Spain. 4 goals in 4 matches for him in Barcelona for his start of the new campaign. Not bad. This is Gilmour, 20 yards inside his own half, picking a good pass to McGinn. Now this is a chance for Scotland. McGinn plays it forward to Christie, just outside the penalty area. McTominay just off balance as he took the shot with the left foot. He's inside the penalty area. He had Bednarek and Zielinski both putting pressure on him, and he was off balance as he fired it over the top.
I mean, it's 3 passes really, and they're into the opposition box from well inside their own area. The initial pass by Gilmour was absolutely beautiful. Fantastic reverse pass. Took about 3 players out of the play there, whilst not even looking at the pass into McGinn. So the best moment from Scotland so far by some distance.
Yeah, that's the template. Can Scotland recreate that sort of flow with some regularity in this game to try and get back into it, trailing by a 0-0? Poland, who pushed right up to the halfway line, allowing Scotland to make that counter.
It needs to be a special pass, or a special number of passes in a row, but as I say, the Gilmour pass there there just isn't another player in this field that could make that pass. And it tells you something about Billy Gilmour. He's been caught for the ball that's given the goal away. He's not stopped for a second, has he? He still wants it every single moment. Bravery.
Let's go an update to Paris, the Paralympics tonight. Ed Harry's watching the javelin. Ed.
Yes, Dan Pembroke, Conor, is leading the final of this F13 javelin for throwers with a visual impairment. The defending Paralympic gold medalist from Tokyo, after 2 rounds, has a best of 68 metres and 39 centimetres. That is some 7 metres plus further than the next best in the field. Not only the gold medalist from Tokyo, Pembroke, he's also won the past 2 world titles as well. He's on course here for another gold.
Thanks very much, Ed. Here in Glasgow, Scotland trailing Poland by 1-0. Northern Ireland leading Luxembourg by 2-0, and Scotland have got another free kick outside the penalty area. This a little bit wider, not quite a shooting position here, but a good platform to try and get something into the box.
Yeah, good place to get a cross in, because Scotland have got a lot of tall players in there. They're usually not bad from these sort of set-piece situations. John McGuinn won the free kick there. I don't think we really need to explain how he won the free kick there, because he always seems to win it in exactly the same way. He just held his ground and was shoved over. So another chance for Robertson on this occasion, kind of expecting and hoping that he'll zip it in an angle at the back post, and just have a number of those blue shirts attacking it in that angle.
Full house at Hampden tonight as Robertson takes the free kick, crossing it in. Great delivery, McTominay! It's in! Scotland make it 1-1 midway through the first half. The delivery from Andy Robertson absolutely bamboozled the Poland defence, and McTominay, who needed a second bite of the cherry, it came off the goalkeeper. Bulka wasn't able to keep it out. Not sure what body part it went in off Scott McTominay, but he doesn't care. It's Scotland 1, Poland 1. It's McTominay again.
Yeah, just describing the free kick that I wanted to see coming in there. To the millimetre, he's did it exactly what you'd expect to do there. Impossible at that point in time to defend it. I think there was a handball in there, but it wasn't a Scottish hand. And anyway, there's no VAR here, so that goal is going to stand. There's quite a few of the Polish players have been going down far too easily here. Scotland need to use the physicality. When they use it, it looks really good, really strong. And yes, as I see that,
the goal is going to stand, but I'm so happy.
Wait a minute.
Hang on.
Wait a minute.
It's not going to stand. No, I was wondering why there was such a delay and a hesitation there. So the goal does not stand. There was a push, not just because of what McTominay did on the goal line. I think it was
handball. Handball by McTominay.
Is it? Is that what it's given for? Right.
Absolutely. I think he's right. I think both of them were handballing it when they come in there. But McTominay, you can't score a goal if your arm's been involved in it. And unfortunate there, but it took 2 or 3 angles to see it. So the information there was no VAR has to be corrected, because it was VAR made that decision.
Yes. So Glenn Nyberg has been informed that this doesn't count. And we see the replay. It's McTominay's hand, it is, as he challenges it. That was the first time we saw the replay from the rear there. And it goes down as being a disallowed goal. The TV graphics are still showing Scotland 1, Poland 1. But the goal does not stand. It is Scotland 0, Poland 1. McTominay denied, continuing what's been such a hot scoring streak for him, for his country.
Yeah, and he'll be disappointed with that, because, it certainly wasn't deliberate, but there's no way you can get it. That's the rules. If it hits your arm in any way whatsoever and it ends up in the goal, there's no way it's going to stand if they are using VAR, which clearly they are, because it's come up on the TV screen, and he's also made that square sign, the referee. I'll tell you what's intriguing. It's a real shame for Scott McTominay. There's that goal, but you also have to add in the goal that he scored against Spain, over in Spain, which would have been a huge goal for Scotland as well. But it should lift Scotland. They can see a possible weakness there in that back line when they get corners or free kicks.
Scotland 0, Poland 1, but encouragement getting the ball into the net there. Having had that good break with the Gilmore pass of just a few minutes ago, Scotland have certainly not allowed their heads to drop being behind here, and they're making good inroads in trying to get back on level terms. Hanley turns 15-20 yards outside his own penalty area, rolls it back to Angus Gunn. 14th cap this evening for Angus Gunn. Robertson plays it back in field to Scott McKenna. McKenna up into the midfield to John McGinn. McGinn back out to Robertson on the left-hand side. Scotland up to the halfway line, playing from left to right as we look down in navy. Poland in red. It's a great run. Robertson slaloming his way in between 2 defenders. He tried to lay it into the path of Christie. Good recovery by Frankowski. Ball goes out for a throw. Scotland wanted a free kick there. I think they thought there was a hand, but it's going to be a throw.
To be honest, I think Robertson's also shouting for a free kick, maybe 20 yards before that when he flowed through. But he kept his feet because he was honest. See if he'd have gone down. A, free kick. B, definite yellow card. So his honesty, that's what he's saying to the referee. My honesty is not helping us here.
No.
Now, if I go down like most players will go down there, I get a yellow card to an opponent, but That's exactly the point I think Andy Robertson's making there.
Ball goes back out of play straight away, and this time it's a throw-in for Poland, right full-back position for them. Poland, who have beaten Scotland more times over the years than they've lost against them. They've taken the lead tonight with Sebastian Szymanski's wonderful strike from well outside the penalty area, bending away for the goalkeeper, grazing the inside of the post on the way through. Scotland, who thought they were back on level terms, but McTominay handled it in the process of putting the ball into the back of the net. Lewandowski here with the flick on the halfway line. Kenny McLean's in to win it back for Scotland, rolls it back to the central defenders. We go back to Paris, back to watching Dan Pembroke at the javelin with Ed Harry.
The defending champion Conor has just broken this classifications world record in round number 3 with a throw of 71 metres and 15 centimetres, stamping his authority on this javelin here this evening. He will have 3 further attempts, but it's a world record holder for the Tokyo gold medalist Pembroke.
Northern Ireland still leading against Luxembourg in Belfast. Scotland trailing to Poland here. Wales in action tomorrow when they take on Turkey, and Lee Carsley's England will go to Dublin. It's a 5 o'clock kickoff against the Republic of Ireland on Saturday. You can listen to full commentary of that game with John Murray and Ian Dennis in Dublin on Saturday.
Well, it's been interesting for Scotland. I'd say since the goal they've been the better team by a bit of a distance, really. They've got forward a little bit more without utter complete domination. They have been the better side, but then again the polls, they know they're a goal up. They don't need to push it. They don't need to take any chances just now. But it's a little bit more confidence in the passing from Scotland in these last 10 or 15 minutes, and that disallowed goal probably helps them a little bit as well.
No, that's a ball given away. Is it by McGinn? It would have been, but the whistle comes back and saves Scotland there. A foul by Jakob Kivior on the Aston Villa player, and that's a free kick to Scotland on the halfway line. But the pressure Poland applies is quite impressive in the midfield. Sorry, Pat.
Yeah, they know they're laying those traps quite a bit, and it's the oldest one in the book in many ways. Let them have that at the back. As soon as you put it into the central midfield area, crowd them there and try and get onto that back line, right? It's a very, very common thing that's been used many, many times, and usually Gilmore isn't caught in those situations. It's just a bit of a sadness of him that he was. But a little bit further forward, Scotland have been better. The one player who's struggling a wee bit just now is the man on the ball just now is John McGinn, but on this occasion
swivels away, turned 180 degrees and brought the ball with him. Kenny McLean now midway inside the Polish half, gives it out to Christie. Ryan Christie inside the penalty area, right-footed shot across the goalkeeper. Needed a bit of bend, which didn't arrive, and it goes for a goal kick. But it is still forward thinking from a Scotland team who are trying to keep that foot on the gas.
Yeah, hardening moments, bit on the left-hand side. A little bit better now from Christie and Robertson working together. Robertson's energy is absolutely phenomenal. He's flying up and down there. He's not wing back tonight, he's full back tonight, but it doesn't matter. He is hammering up that line time and again. Doesn't always get the ball, but he drags players away, so he's looking very, very sharp. McTominay also very, very sharp as well.
The wing back position has been a bit of a problem on the right hand side for Steve Clarke in terms of injuries, as Gilmore here tries to play a pass in front to McTominay. It was a good idea into the penalty area, but the new Napoli signing just wasn't able to accelerate on it. It was slightly too far in front of him. But Scotland's 2 first choice, if you like, right backs going into the Euros were injured. Aaron Hickey and Nathan Patterson. Anthony Ralston playing on that right hand side, but it's down the left that Scotland, and particularly when Tierney's in the team and he can work in tandem with Robertson, that's where the real productivity line is.
Yeah, that's Scotland's creativity. More than any other part of the team, apart from set pieces, that's where the creativity has been for a long time. But Tierney's going to be out for quite some time, so Scotland have to find other answers.
Poland have it. Frankowski on the far side, brings it over the halfway line, whips it in towards Lewandowski, who controls it well, and he's been allowed to turn. Hanley backed away off him. Lewandowski's pass cut out by Ralston, and he comes away with possession down the right hand side. Good defending by Anthony Ralston. The pass in field to McTominay. There was a foul on Dykes. Referee says play on. McTominay takes on the charge himself, but he's held up short of the D. Dykes has barreled and continued his run into Davidovic, and I think he's going to be booked for that. That was quite blatant from Lyndon Dykes, who was cut off the ball. He decided to take matters into his own hands with a retaliation, and he's raised his arm, in my view, to collide with Davidovic there, and I wonder what the referee is going to make of that.
Well, they'll look at it again through the VAR without a shadow of a doubt, because we're nowhere near the ball there. He was taken out of the play himself. To be fair, the Polish players have been going down very, very easy, but there's no excuse for that. That's off the ball. That's NFL stuff. That's not football.
I think he might get away with it because it's instantly after, he could say, oh, it was my natural momentum brought him in, but I think, we all know looking at that, he was looking for a bit of revenge.
He knows what he's doing. He 100% knows what he's doing. People always know how to use their bodies and the timing of it. He was kind of roughed up a little bit, didn't feel as if he got anything out of it, so...
We can see we just see the replay here. So Dykes was fouled, actually not by Davidovic at all. It was Bednarek who fouled him initially, but he took out the retaliation on Davidovic. He mixed them up.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's got away with it. No further action for the heavily tattooed Lyndon Dykes.
Very, very fortunate there, because it's off the ball, it's deliberate.
Yeah.
It's far too physical for that situation.
Throw into Poland, right inside as they come forward. 12 minutes to go to the break at Hampden. Poland leading by Szymanski's excellent goal after 9 minutes tonight. Poland all in red, playing from right to left as we look down. Kiwior on the halfway line. Inside the centre circle, rolls it back to Davidovic. And then a good turn by Zielinski, who's very comfortable on the ball, holding it up. McTominay's trying to shadow him, but Zielinski keeps twisting and turning, and eventually Poland have it back on the edge of their own penalty area. Back to Zielinski again. Right-footed clearance as well, anticipated by Kenny McLean. He's unfortunate not to have won back possession there. Zalewski was able to get it, and he's played a good cross-field ball to Frankowski on the right-hand side. Now, plenty red shirts in attack here. Ball played to Szymanski, the Poland goal scorer. Tries to get away from Robertson and McKenna. They've doubled up on him. McKenna's really strong. He holds him off, and in the attempts of Szymanski to hustle Scott McKenna there, he commits a foul. Free kick to Scotland. Well done, the Las Palmas defender, Scott McKenna.
Yeah, a real good battle there. I mean, the referee probably gets it. I think it probably is a free kick there, but it's a Scotland centre back, so not going down William looking for it. They might just keep on playing there, but it was a free kick. Watching the Poles there, when they do break, when you watch them midfield, they fly into the box, and maybe that's the difference with Scotland. They've got themselves into good positions, in the wide areas. They've not got enough up there into the box quickly enough. You've got to break your neck to get in there, and it's just not happening often enough.
Foul on Lyndon Dykes, this time by Davidovic. Those two continuing their battle, and this time it's a yellow card for the Polish defender. It's a free kick to Scotland midway inside the Poland half, and a yellow card for Davidovic, who's got to be careful now. One of the three central defenders in this Poland team.
That's why you have three central defenders. They take it in turns. They wipe out a centre back, a centre forward. He's a big man, Dykes. He knows that's part of his game. He'll give it, but he'll have to take it as well. I have to be brutally honest with you. That's a very harsh yellow card.
Yes,
very harsh.
Particularly with Dykes not getting one a few moments ago. Right, free kick to Scotland, trailing by a goal to nil at a full Hampden. So it's going to be left-footed delivery from Robertson. Poland are holding a high line well outside the penalty area. Burst of Scotland players into the box, but Robertson's delivery in front of them all, claimed by the goalkeeper Bulka.
He's unlucky there. That isn't an awful ball into it. It's exactly the right area. And the Scotland players couldn't get onto it quick enough, but that's an area where the defenders can't deal with it, and if it drops between the goalkeeper and the defenders, that's what you want, in the hope that your forwards get there. Just not enough speed to get anything out of it.
If you're joining our coverage late, Scott McTominay's had what he thought equaliser ruled out for handball. Ralston with an interception for Scotland. Christian headed back to the goalkeeper, Angus Gunn. This evening, which was billed as a new chapter, new beginning for Scotland and for Steve Clarke. We don't have any debutants in the starting 11 tonight, but Ben Doak and Ryan Gold are both on the bench. Doak, who's a Liverpool player who's gone on loan at Middlesbrough. Ryan Gold, who's been doing well in Canada with Vancouver Whitecaps. Does Doak win another free kick over there? No, he doesn't. It's going to be a goal kick to Poland, away to our right-hand side. 10 minutes to the break.
It's actually old school watching Dykes playing against those centre-backs, isn't it? They're roughing each other up, they're pushing, they're shoving, they're coming through back time and again. And it's kind of what Dykes wants. He wants it to be like that, so that we get free kicks in hopefully dangerous areas for Scotland, but also he has to try and hold the ball up, or at least get the odd nod down, so that the likes of McTominay and Christie, and to some degree any other player, including McGinn, get it.
McTominay gets it on the edge of the area, pushes himself a bit wide, pulls back across. Dykes couldn't get on the end of it. Christie was in there too. The second touch for McTominay there brought him maybe a little bit wider than he would have wanted, and took away his own chance of shooting himself. But just as Scotland were punished for losing possession on the edge of their penalty area for the goal, Poland nearly did the same thing. and they're fortunate to still be 1-0 in front.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think he's been brilliant tonight, McTominay, chasing it. As we're talking just now, I mentioned McGinn earlier. I didn't think we were seeing the best of him. I wonder if he's carrying a lot of injury just now, and he's that type of player. He'll keep on trying to go through it, but that energy that he usually shows, it's not quite showing yet tonight. And he went down there holding his leg, and that's the second time he's done that. So a real concern for Scotland, and indeed Aston Villa.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not what Aston Villa will want to hear, particularly with their Champions League campaign about to get underway. There'll be great excitement in the second city about that. Villa, who will play against Everton at home. It's the lunchtime kickoff in there. Or is it the 5:30 kickoff? I can't remember. It's one of those. It's not a 3 o'clock game on a week on Saturday. But he's still battling on for now, McGinn. As across from the left-hand side from Robertson, doesn't pick out a teammate, and Poland regained possession once again.
What I was explaining there about McGinn, well, he's actually gone down again. He just hasn't looked right tonight. You can tell with McGinn, those flying forward runs that he makes to get onto crosses, he just wasn't there at any point from the first minute of the game. He's gone down, he sat down there, and just a moment before that, the ball came in, and it was over the centre-back Dykes, centre-forward Dykes, and Dykes said, where are you? And I think he's just thought,
that's why.
This is the reason why. I can't really get there.
Okay, McGinn is getting treatment. We mentioned a few times Andy Robertson on his 75th cap tonight. It's John McGinn's 70th appearance for his country. Excellent past couple of seasons with Aston Villa, and it would appear, as he gets treatment down there, that his night could be coming to a premature halt here. Reminder of what's coming up over the next few days on 5 Live. John Murray and Ian Dennis will be in Dublin on Saturday. Republic of Ireland against England, full commentary on 5 Live. It's a 5 p.m. start. Before all that, Jack Draper in the US Open semi-final commentary tomorrow on 5 Live from 8 p.m. We'll have Wales against Turkey in the Nations League on Sports Extra. That's a 7:45 start. And the third test starts tomorrow at the Oval, ball-by-ball commentary from 10:25 on TMS. And it'll start at 10 a.m. on all of the other days.
What's very noticeable here is that the player who's gone to warm up in case John McGinn doesn't last much longer is Ben Doak. And consider a very, very different type of player, but a player who can play the right-hand side of, in a 4-2-3-1 in that 3. Now that's where McGinn's been playing just now, and that's actually the natural position of young Doak, who has, I was going to say very little international experience, very little first-team experience anywhere.
Yeah, Ben Doak, who's in his promising young career, he's only 18, but he's had more than his fair share of injuries already. Played a handful of games for the first team at Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp. He played in the Premier League and the Europa League last season, but we've not seen much of him. A player who was named in the initial Euro squad by Steve Clarke, but had to pull out back end of last season because of injury. Didn't go to Germany.
I can tell you one thing about him. He is lightning. He is absolute lightning.
Scotland fans hoping to get a glimpse of Ben Doak at some stage later on. Here comes Scotland down the left-hand side. Christie trying to step his way into the penalty, delivers a good low cross to the edge of the 6-yard box, and Bednarek stretching, clears it away. It'll bounce once and go out of play for a throw into Scotland, which Christie takes immediately. Back to Kenny McLean. There's 4 Scotland players in the middle. It's played in towards McTominay, headed though by Davidovic, and then as Poland tried to counter-attack, Lewandowski goes down. Seems to be claiming that he was fouled there. Boos from the Scotland fans. The referee from Sweden waves play on, and Scotland do play on. Christie with a step over, gets to the edge of the area, plays it in. Dykes! Side netting on the half volley, stretching on the edge of the 6-yard box. It's close range, and he puts it just the wrong side of the post. Scotland banging on the door for an equaliser with 5 minutes to go at Hampden. They trail 1-0.
Slowly but surely, since Scotland lost the goal, they've got better and better and better. Said they weren't getting to the byline earlier on. They're getting there now, particularly from the left, but sometimes from the right as well. This ball from the left-hand side, maybe it's quite often Robertson's involved in it. We know how good he is. Dykes, I know why he's going for the volley, and that's a perfectly good shout. My first thought was diving header, because it's bouncing up towards him and he could have gone there, but he's caught it well, but he's not caught it on target.
It was a slightly awkward height when you go for that technique. He had to drag his foot out to the side and try to get the shot on. But he's inches, that's all it was wide.
There are many a centre forward for Scotland in the past that would definitely have dived to the head for that one.
Scotland 0, Poland 1. Half-time approaching on 5 Live. John McGinn soldiering on. Despite needing treatment a few minutes ago. Aston Villa fans will be concerned about his participation, but he's one of those, McGinn. He'll always give everything for his, club or country. Whoever he's playing for, he will give it all.
I think he's took something in his left knee. That's a real concern, that, because it wasn't obvious, when it happened. I think it was quite early on.
Poland in possession on the halfway line. Zielinski allowed to turn, rolls it short to Zalewski on the left-hand side, gets it back again. Little 1-2 between the two of them. Zalewski gets into the penalty area. There's a clumsy challenge right inside the box, and the referee points to the spot. Poland are going to get a penalty here, are they? Poland celebrating the opportunity to double their lead ahead of half-time. Zalewski, who got into the... Was it Ralston?
Yep.
Clumsy challenge, and the referee points to the spot. Penalty, Poland.
I immediately thought penalty kick. I've seen one replay, but we're going to see a third now, and I know I'm not going to change my mind. That's quite clever. Inverted commas. That's quite clever play by Zalewski, because he knows that he's not got complete control of the ball, so he runs across the tackle to take the hit. But in that situation, he's not got right of way, Ralston. You've got to get out of the way. The referee will not be changing his decision in that one.
So, disappointment for Scotland, who, as Pat Evans been illustrating, since going 1-0 down, Steve Clarke's team have had the best of it. Angus Gunn hasn't had a whole lot to do since picking the ball out of his net for Szymanski's opener. But now he is up against one of the penalty experts, Robert Lewandowski, to double Poland's lead. Scored at Euro 2024 against France. It was from the penalty spot that he scored that game in Dortmund. This is in Glasgow, up against Angus Gunn. Lewandowski with a bandage on his left wrist. It's going to be a right-footed penalty, a jig of a dance, never in doubt. One of the lethal number 9s of the modern game. Robert Lewandowski of Barcelona puts Poland 2-0 in front on what is becoming a disappointment of an opening night in the Nations League for Scotland. McTominay's goal disallowed. Dykes to the side netting, but Poland go down the other end and make it 2-0 just ahead of the break.
And that's quality in the final third. And it's what Scotland have lacked for quite some time, not scoring enough goals. They started creating chances and half chances in this game, and I think they were slightly the better team for 20-25 minutes there, but in the end it's about quality in the final third. That's where Scotland's weaknesses are, and that's where the best teams do the business. They've hardly been up the park the last 25 minutes, Poland, but when they did it with pace. They were direct, and they were vicious as well as being quite clever. And it was a penalty, and it's Robert Lewandowski. You almost didn't have to look.
It is an 84th international goal for Poland's number 9, Robert Lewandowski. Scored against Scotland after just 3 minutes here in 2015. Scored for Barcelona on Saturday as they beat Valladolid by 7-0. And he has dampened the mood at Hampden Park, because full house here. This place was buzzing. Even with Scotland 1-0 down, they were seeing positivity from the team. This, though, feels a crushing blow, with half-time just to come as well. Poland scoring early and late in these opening 45 minutes at Hampden. Ball goes out of play on the far side. Referee gives the throw to Scotland. His assistant wasn't helping him there. There was no flag. Assistant didn't know. Ball crossed in by Robertson from the left-hand side, but it sails too high again, and it should be cleared away by Zalewski. Zalewski, the player who made that brilliant surge into the penalty area to win the penalty that Lewandowski converted.
Yeah, I mean, real pace. That's what Zalewski's brought, and he's supposedly a kind of wing back, but he spent a lot of time on the wing, flying down there, and Ralston hasn't always known which player to pick up. In that case, he picked him up quite late, and by the time he got close to him, he was behind him. And if you're wrong side and you're inside the box and the attacker's travelling at pace, it's not unusual for that to happen.
We've got 3 minutes of stoppages added on. We've already played a minute of those. Mikel Probierz, who is the Polish coach, promoted from their under-21s. They did have Fernando Santos, the older Portugal national team manager, in charge for a while. That didn't go well, so Probierz was brought in. And he's got to be pleased with this. His team have been able to ride their luck at times, absorb a lot of Scotland pressure, But, we speak about the efficiency and McTominay's goal scoring rate, efficiency from Poland. They've not had many chances, but they lead 2-0.
They have, and I suppose what Stevie Clark in his mind will be thinking just now, when Scotland had 3 centre-backs, that wasn't happening very often. The teams were flying through them. You had at least some cover. You had, you could take a chance, get a player further out, and you've got cover behind them all the time. 2 centre-backs, you haven't got that.
Steve Clark, who does like the 3 central defensives, a lot of pressure for Scotland to be a bit more ambitious. And the change of formation has not borne the hoped-for fruit just yet. Scotland 0, Poland 2. Early days both in the game and in this Nations League campaign. But, as weird as it is against Lewandowski and company to say this, on paper, this is Scotland's easiest assignment in the group, because they've got to play Croatia home and away. We know how good they are. They've got to play Portugal home and away. They've got to go away to Poland. 2-0 down at home and the supposed easier game. Welcome to life in the top tier of the Nations League.
Yeah, as I was saying just before the programme, sometimes the worst thing you can do is get promoted. It really is. If you're a manager, you put yourself in such danger because you're against the better teams, and suddenly people forget that you have progressed to get here. And that's the position Stevie Clark finds himself in just now.
Free kick to Scotland. Could they reduce this deficit ahead of the break? We have played the 3 minutes that were due to be allocated. This will presumably be the final passage of play of the first half. Billy Gilmore standing over a free kick 15 yards outside the penalty area, floats it in. Hanley couldn't get close. Ralston won't get a touch either, and the referee has seen some pushing, and he gives a free kick to Poland, and that should be that for the end of the first half. Yes, Glenn Nyberg blows the whistle and sends the teams towards the changing room. So Sebastian Szymanski with a superb strike from way outside the penalty area, giving Poland the lead inside 9 minutes. Robert Lewandowski from the penalty spot after 44. In the middle of all that, Scotland had a very good spell in which Scott McTominay had the ball in the back of the net, but disallowed because he handled it as he controlled. And this is disappointing, Pat Nevin. Scotland 0, Poland 2.
Oh, it's always disappointing if you're losing at home and against a team that have not a huge amount to play. They had a good first 10 minutes, the Poles, but they've not created a huge amount of chances. But when they've got them, they've looked very dangerous and they've taken them. Stevie Clark's tried to be as positive as he could, playing with the back four. And there were periods where it looked really well. And if that goal, and it's a big thing, that word if that goal from McTominay had stood and Scotland were on the rise at that point in time, you just never know. But that's international football. Top teams, they take their chances, and that's what's happened to Scotland. And now there's so many questions that Stevie Clark has to answer, and he also has to look at John McGinn. Is he capable of coming out in the second half?
Scotland, who had a poor start to Euro 2024, heavily beaten by the hosts in their opening game of that major tournament in the summer, and they've had a poor start to their Nations League campaign too. There's 45 minutes to try and turn it around, but for now at Hampden, it's Scotland 0, Poland 2.
And Pat, you've talked about potentially it can be almost the worst possible thing, being promoted up to League A. We also look at this game, and you were saying this yesterday, in some ways this is the most winnable of the 6. They've got Croatia in their group, Portugal as well. Portugal leading, by the way, 2-1 at half-time in the other game. So is this, for Steve Clark, where you potentially do make a few changes now?
Well, it's dangerous to do that, because if you make a few changes, the temptation is to bring in players that haven't played much, if at all, at this level ever before. So you don't know how they're going to cope at this level. You don't know if they'll be too naive. I mean, international football is quite often the jump, and certainly some of the players that you're going to bring on, haven't played, even top level England. So, it's a massive, massive risk. It's the easiest thing in the world to say make a change. If you make a change, you actually might make it worse. I think the temptation for Stevie Clark will to make one change, and that's mostly because, for me, McGinn doesn't look fully fit, and he wouldn't take him off unless they had to. But, will you go and chase this? Well, if you can go and chase it, you can get a hiding in a game like this. So I think he'll try and be sensible for another 10 or 15 minutes if he possibly can, and then after that he'll start making some chances. The other possibility is they go back to what he favours, which is a back three, which is a lot safer, and you wouldn't be giving up those chances that possibly they lost those 2 goals for. But that's not going to go down with this fan base round here if you bring on another defender. So bit of a catch-22 right now for Stevie Clark. He's going to have to earn a score.
Well, Pat, Conor, thank you very much for the time being. Go and enjoy those Mexican snacks, won't you, at Hampden Park. Half-time, Scotland 0, Poland 2. So work to do for the hosts. Let's check in, though. Northern Ireland against Luxembourg. Half-time there. John Southall, much more positive for the hosts.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a terrific first half from Northern Ireland. They lead Luxembourg by 2-0. They've taken their chances. That hasn't always been the case with Northern Ireland, both from set pieces. The first, Kieran Brown with a long throw, not cleared, fell to Paddy McNair, 12 yards out, and he finished into the bottom left corner, his 7th career goal for his country. 6 minutes later, another set piece, this time George Saville free kick on the right edge of the penalty area, whipped it into the near post, and there was Dan Ballard who guided it in. Good finish that, 2 centre-halves, 2 goals, both finished very nicely. Luxembourg have offered very little, yet to have a shot on target. Half-time, Northern Ireland 2, Luxembourg 0.
John, thank you. So, second half commentary to come in the Nations League between Scotland and Poland. We are going to bring you news of another world record here at the Stade de France at the Paris Paralympics in just a few minutes. But let's get the actual news now here on 5 Live with Carl Hartley.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Katie. The UN has condemned what it called the violent murder of the Ugandan Olympic athlete Rebecca Cheptegei, who died after being set on fire by her ex-boyfriend. The attack happened at her home in Kenya. The Ugandan Minister of Sports, Peter Ogwang, says the death highlights the scale of violence against women and girls.
It is becoming an issue which we cannot continue to allow. It is affecting our children, our daughters, and specifically the female athletes. It's where we are much more concerned, and it is not good at all. It's an issue we must handle it head on.
In the last few minutes, President Biden's son Hunter has pleaded guilty in his trial on tax evasion charges. It's a last-minute plea change. Prosecutors accuse him of failing to pay nearly $1.5 million. The Royal Navy says it's investigating after a member of personnel died when a helicopter was forced to ditch into the English Channel last night. It crashed following an exercise with the Air Force carrier HMS Queen Elizabeth. And Jeremy Kyle has defended his presenting style as direct but empathetic while giving evidence to an inquest into the death of a man who appeared on his shore. Steve Diamond is believed to have taken his own life shortly after failing a lie detector test on the Jeremy Kyle Show in 2019.
Just listen to this.
The stage is set.
This is New York.
Flushing Meadows, New York City.
Perfect. Oh, it really is.
Glory is within touching distance.
The Arthur Ashe Stadium stands.
US Open tennis, finals weekend.
Absolutely world class.
This Saturday and Sunday on 5 Live
And BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports at the Paralympics
with Katie Smith
on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
Day 8 of the Games here in Paris. We are live in the Stade de France on a chilly evening. There has been a bronze for Paralympics GB already within the stadium today. There's been a silver as well. No gold yet, but Ed Harry and Richard Whitehead alongside me. We are in a very promising position. I teased a world record, Ed. We'd had one already. What has Dan Pembroke done now in the javelin?
Dan Pembroke has just chosen to pass his attempt in the 5th round, but he's been busy over the last few rounds. A world record of 71 metres and 15, followed by a huge throw, improving that brand new world record to 74 metres and 49. To give it some context, Katie, when he came here to Paris last summer and won the world title, he did that with a brand new personal best of 70 metres 50, while his personal best, which is now the world record, is 74.49. Almost 4.5 metres further. He had a look around, he had a sip from his water bottle, and he decided he is going to pass his 5th round attempt with a lead somewhere in the region of around about 5 metres over Ali Perouge of Iran in 2nd place.
Can you just talk me through the psychology of that decision, Rich? Because I get that he has pretty much, we can call this an unassailable lead unless someone else just absolutely annihilates this position, but it's huge. But the adrenaline he must have right now to just want to keep going. He's in this kind of form this evening.
But also the confidence that he's got in himself. Obviously first throw 68, then 66, then he pushed on to 71, which was a world record. Then he pushed on again to 74.49. incredible improvement. You look at Dan and you go, champion. You look at what he does, champion mindset. He's telling the rest of the field they haven't got it. He has got this gold medal, the first for the male Paralympics GB athletics team.
He looks like he's absolutely loving life out there as well, Ed.
He really is. And think about it, since Tokyo, including Tokyo, in the last 3 years, 3 global gold medals in a row. That concertina effect, which pushed the Paralympics a year late, also meant that we had a World straight after it, the year after, here in Paris. And then in May of this year in Kobe, Japan, we had a delayed World Championships. And he has improved and improved and improved. And he absolutely conducted the crowd after that first world record and again after the second one. It's a decent-sized lead, and it puts the pressure now on the rest of the field as we begin the 6th and final round.
Yeah, there are 7 men who are going to try and give it absolutely everything now to deny Dan Pembroke a gold here at the Paralympics. We will keep an eye on that, but there have been 2 golds already for Paralympics GB today, both coming in the pool once again. Alice Tai winning her 2nd gold of the Games. That came in the S8 50 metres freestyle. And Becky Redfern won her first ever Paralympic title. That was in the 100 metres breaststroke for the SB13 category, and she afterwards spoke to Maz Faruqi.
3rd Paralympic Games, and you finally got that gold. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, it's all so surreal. I mean, it's made all so special by having my family in the crowd. I mean, I was up on the podium and my little boy was blowing me kisses down, which just made me really emotional because it has been a long journey to get here. A lot of challenges, a lot of ups and downs, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my family.
It must be hard as well, because obviously you had your team event yesterday, but you had this individual event today, and you've kind of been watching everybody else competing, getting the medals, getting GB up that medal table. Has that put the pressure on? Have you enjoyed being on the sidelines and then obviously finally getting to get in today and do your thing?
It's amazing. I mean, Paralympics GB have absolutely smashed it in the pool. I'm just really proud to be one of those medals. It's been a really long week waiting for my turn, but it was just so special.
And talk to us again, like you said it there, about having your son Patrick here. And has that made the difference, do you think, for why there's been so much success for GB this time around?
I think so. I think it's just that big build-up. The crowd really spurs you on in that last 10 metres. So I think having that really makes the difference for a lot of us swimmers. And I think just knowing who is in the crowd, who is cheering for you back at home, it really does make all the difference. All I do is to make him proud. And I know that he is absolutely buzzing from tonight. He's proud of Mummy.
Becky Redfern there after winning gold in the pool. That is now 16 gold medals for Paralympics GB at La Défense Arena. 13-year-old Iona Winifrith as well won a silver today in the SB 700 metres breaststroke. She's the youngest member of the whole of the GB team here in Paris. Elsewhere, the 3rd test between England and Sri Lanka starts tomorrow at the Oval. Test match special will be live from 10:25 tomorrow morning, and you can listen across BBC Sounds and 5 Sports Extra. And England's men's white ball captain Jos Buttler, he's been ruled out of the upcoming 3-match T20 series against Australia. That's due to a calf injury. Right, from midnight this evening, we'll bring you commentary of the first women's semi-finals at the US Open tennis. Emma Navarro taking on Arina Sabalenka. That will be followed by Jessie Pegula against Karolina Mukova. Our correspondent Russell Fuller joins me now. Russell, we'll mention those in a moment, go into it a bit more, but of course we've got to start with Jack Draper getting ready for his first ever Grand Slam semi-final tomorrow, no less against the world number 1 Jannik Sinner. It's going to be the biggest test, of course, for him so far.
And it will happen at a perfect time for a UK audience as well, Katie, for a 5 Live audience, because it is the afternoon match here in New York, which means it'll start at 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. in the UK, with the All-American match at night, just as Francis Tiafoe and Taylor Fritz and the American broadcasters would probably want. And I don't think that Draper's going to be overawed by playing the world number 1. They knew each other from junior days when Jannik Sinner was nothing like the player he is now. They played doubles in Montreal recently. They've actually become quite good friends in the last couple of years, so I think that will just help maybe reduce Jack Draper's nerves when he steps out to play this semi-final on the Arthur Ashe Stadium.
In terms of the attention he's getting now, Russell, he's someone we've, of course, amongst British audiences, been talking about, almost hyping up now for a little while. He was sharing news on his social channels yesterday about meeting the likes of Andre Agassi. So does it feel like Jack Draper perhaps is now being introduced to an even wider audience, a global audience?
Yes, most definitely. There's a big change between being a player who has some good results in the first week of a Grand Slam, making a quarter-final, and now making a semi-final. There was actually a picture of him on the front page of the Wall Street Journal here in the United States this morning, and the caption was, "Contenders step out of the shadows." But he does seem very relaxed by the attention he's getting. Even chatting to him yesterday, after speaking to him about the match against Alex de Minaur, about his decision to cut caffeine out of his diet, and he's decided that he used to take it to try and make himself less tired. He felt his anxiety before matches was making him tired, so he took extra caffeine on board, but that was making him overly agitated and overly wired, and he's now cut that out of his system altogether.
I need to get some tips from him. Quickly, let's talk about the women's semi-finals coming up then. 2 Americans involved. It's been a brilliant tournament so far for the Americans across the singles, the men's as well. They've got a guaranteed finalist, but both of them coming up against women who have experience of finals and in Aryna Sabalenka of winning Grand Slams.
Yes, the 2 Americans are daughters of billionaire parents. Emma Navarro, who's beaten Coco Gauff at both Wimbledon and the US Open. Her dad made a fortune in the credit card industry. And the parents of Jessica Pegula own the Buffalo Bills NFL team and the Buffalo Sabres NHL team. Navarro plays Aryna Sabalenka, as you say, who won the Cincinnati title and has only dropped 1 set in her last 10 matches. She looks the most likely champion at this stage, but I certainly wouldn't write anybody off, particularly Karolina Mukova, who's the unseeded player up against Jessica Pegula. She's only unseeded because she's missed 9 months in the last year with a wrist injury.
Russell, thank you very much. So Russell and the team back with you later from midnight this evening. You can listen to commentary of those women's semi-finals on 5 Sports Extra and the BBC Sport website. Dan Pembroke on track here in Paris for gold in the Paralympics in the F13 javelin. He's thrown a humongous world record. There are only 2 men left to throw in that. But we are going to head back to Hampden Park now. Just kicking off in the second half. Scotland trailing 2-0 to Poland in the Nations League. We will go back to Pat Nevin and Conor McNamara.
Back underway, Scotland on their first attack of the second half. Dyke sends in a low cross on the right-hand side. Cleared away by Walkiewicz, who's just come on for Poland. It comes back to a shooting position and it's powered in. Billy Gilmore scores for Scotland right at the start of the second half. Here we go. Steve Clarke's team finally catch a break. Scotland 1, Poland 2.
Yeah, I can't believe how quickly it started there. That was a second chance in the first couple of seconds there. The referee will look at it again. There was possibility of Christie coming back from an offside position when he won the ball in the first place, so slightly concerned about it, but there are no complaints from the Poles. And of all people, you don't expect to score a goal. The man who rarely ever scores a goal, and it's that man Gilmore.
It's only his second international goal for Scotland. Gilmore from just inside the penalty area. Poland should have cleared it away. And he reacted first to slam it low in beyond Bulka. Just the start to the second half Steve Clarke would have been dreaming of.
Exactly, but like all the other Scotland fans around here, I've got my heart in my mouth because I'm worried about what I thought. I immediately thought Christie was coming from a dangerous position, but he's given it.
The goal stands. Scotland do catch a break, having seen Scott McTominay's goal disallowed in the first half. This one counts. Scotland 1, Poland 2, right at the very start. That was only seconds into the second period.
Do you know what they always say? Start quick in the second half. We've done that. Scotland needed to do something very quickly because, you know, this place would have felt like a mausoleum, you know, had they not started quickly and created at least a few chances. So 2-1 down. But the place is buzzing again.
That livens things up for sure. This is 5 Live for the BBC, the opening night of the Nations League in Group A1. Scotland 1, Poland 2 now at all to play for. Back underway for the second half at Windsor Park. Northern Ireland, Luxembourg. John Southall.
Where Northern Ireland lead by 2-0. They've started this second half on the front foot. Isaac Price on the right of the area, on the volley with his left foot wide of the left-hand post. Northern Ireland 2, Luxembourg 0.
Thanks so much. Elsewhere in this group tonight, Portugal lead Croatia 2-1, which sounds like a good game there. Scotland who travel to Lisbon to play Portugal on Sunday. Cristiano Ronaldo has got his 900th career goal in that game as Scott McTominay attacks for Scotland down the right-hand side and wins a corner. Scotland have come out with fire in their bellies for this second half at Hampden.
It was interesting to see how they would react to it, because going 2-0 down, this place was really, really flat. Well, I don't know what the manager said to him, but it's had exactly the right reaction.
And Poland have come out completely cold. Corner to be taken on the far side. Interesting setup for Scotland. We'll describe that in just a moment. It's a high in-swinger and it curls away out for a goal kick from John McGinn. The reason that was in, I haven't seen a team do this before. Scotland dispersed to the far peripheries of the penalty area there. So one player went in right by the byline edge of the penalty area, one went to the right to the corner angle of the penalty area, one was around the D. They tried to spread out to presumably create a space in the middle, but ultimately McGinn's delivery let it down.
Sometimes you do unusual lineups if you're playing against, what is not a man-to-man marking. So if you're not doing that and they're zonal, well, really spread it out and ask them a question and they look confused. But sadly for Scotland, delivery wasn't good. But look, Scotland are pressing really high again. They're going to have a go at this.
Yeah. Can Scotland now strike while the iron is hot? Poland regain possession. Urbanski gives it over the halfway line. Zalewski, good pace, acceleration off the left-hand side, almost into the penalty area. Held up by Ralston. Gives it back to Urbanski. Back out to Zalewski once again. He tries the low ball across the edge of the penalty area. That one's cut out by McLean. Scotland haven't been able to fully clear though. Poland hold on to possession. And it's back with the man who came on at half-time, Velokiewicz. He's replaced Arsenal's Jakub Kiwior, who was presumably only ever going to play 45 minutes tonight, given that he's not played at all for Arsenal this season. Let's get back to Paris, the Paralympics. Ed Harry.
Dan Pembroke has already successfully defended his gold medal in this F34 javelin, and now he has one final throw and his arms are aloft above his head. He wants the slow hand clap from everybody who has remained in this stadium. And now he's screaming at the crowd, really trying to whip them up one last time. He's absolutely loving this. Back-to-back world records in rounds 3 and 4, 71 metres 15, then 74.49. He's on the runway now, one last time. Gold is already secured. He releases that spear one final time, and it's huge again. It's a big, big throw again. I'm not sure if it's quite as far as round number 4. We will get that distance for you, but he's already away and running into the infield, and he takes a bow on the infield where the javelin would have just thrown over his head. And Dan Pembroke is a gold medalist here, as he was in Tokyo in the F13 javelin.
Thanks very much, Ed. Poland on the attack at Hampden. Low cross on the right-hand side from Velokiewicz, but Lewandowski, and we don't say this very often, flops his lines with the attempted shot.
It was a great break there by the Poles, but Scotland had tried really hard to do the high press. But it was brilliant play for Poland to get out. They had about 7 or 8 zippy passes and managed to get through that Scotland press. But the fact that Scotland are willing to take that chance tells you something. It says to Scotland are not going to give this up. They're going to take these chances. They're going to try and push it. And the best man to do it is that man, McTominay. He is a colossus out there in that field tonight. He's been spectacularly good.
Lewandowski, who doubled Poland's lead from the penalty spot just before half-time. And a yellow card has been shown here. So a free kick has been awarded to Scotland. We'll confirm which Polish player has got the booking there.
I was wondering if it was
I think it's
Walicevich or Bednarek.
Yeah, it can't be Davidovich, because he's already in the yellow. In fact, I think it's Nikola Zalewski, the Roma player, who's been shown the yellow card there. Scotland take the free kick, hold on to possession in the middle of the park. Much better from Steve Clarke's team here at the start of this second period. McTominay tries to go down the right wing, and he's challenged, and the ball goes out for a throw-in to Poland.
Yeah, I think it was, you say much better now, I would agree with that, but they've been getting better since they lost the first goal, and it was just that sucker punch that they got, and Quite often Scotland in the past have gone down after a sucker punch, but they haven't this time.
We mentioned Ronaldo getting his 900th career goal tonight for Portugal. Portugal still leading Croatia 2-1 in this group. Christie comes forward for Scotland. And Diogo Dalot has scored at both ends in that game. He put Portugal in front, then he scored an own goal to allow Croatia back into it. Good challenge by Grant Hanley, however, is penalised by the referee. He slid in, he thought he won the ball. The referee says free kick to Poland. Not in a dangerous position, though, in the central third.
That was very clever by Piontek there. I think he was losing that ball there. He wasn't being strong enough, and he did that classic one. Just put your body in there and take the hint. And very, very clever play for him. And Poland are trying to slow this down a bit now. You can tell that's what they're trying to do. I mean, Scotland have lifted the pace. It's not suited Poland now. They would like to get a hold of the ball and get a foothold in this second half.
We mentioned the first period. John McGinn's not really running freely, but he's still on the field for Scotland. Steve Clarke had his substitutes out warming up over the break. Scotland 1, Poland 2. Here come Poland on the attack. Zalewski's been really dangerous. Low ball into Lewandowski. Controls it. Lays it back behind. Urbanski to his right-hand side is Valukiewicz, and his shot takes a deflection. Shot come cross that should be shielded out by Robertson, and it is for a Scotland goal kick away to our right-hand side. Scotland 1, Poland 2.
Yeah, Ralston's getting left out there. Lots and lots of one-on-one, and you know, if you're a winger, the one thing you want more than anything else is just give me a one-on-one, give me a bit of space. And there's no cover at all there, and he's asking a lot of questions in Ralston, and most of the time Ralston's dealt with them well, but he's not engaging, and that means they can get forward.
Quite a few changes in Scotland from the squad that went to the Euros. More on that in a moment. As here is Piontek into the penalty area, pulls it back to the edge of the area. Urbanski tries to take a shot. Robertson can't clear it on the first occasion. Valukiewicz can't get a clean shot either, and the loose ball is ricocheted for Robertson, who appeared to be out of position, but now he couldn't be better located. Charging down the left-hand side, feeds it to McTominay inside the penalty area, the new Napoli signing. He'll give it back infield towards Billy Gilmour. Gilmour, whose goal has given Scotland some hope here right at the start of the second period, reducing the 2-goal deficit they held over half-time. Kenny McLean to the left-hand side to Ryan Christie. Can he get a dangerous ball into the penalty area? Shuffles it in low. Robertson couldn't control it, and it's harmlessly back to Bulka, the Polish goalkeeper.
Again, the pace of the break there was very good for Scotland, but the final decision there, Christie plays the right ball. Unfortunately, he plays at about 300 miles an hour, and there's no way they can do anything that Andy Robertson, but it just shows you the willingness to get forward. That's the left back, and he was in the centre forwards position.
Gilmour's high press, too vigorous, and a free kick is given to Poland just outside their penalty area. Scotland 1, Poland 2. Scotland have also had a goal disallowed for handball. Poland have it in the middle of the midfield. Zielinski to the near side. Frankowski back into a central area again. McTominay goes prowling forward. That high press being continued by Scotland. Zielinski's ball is accurate though, up to Lewandowski, who's in an offside position. Flag goes up on the near touchline. Poland offside, free kick Scotland.
But you can see Scotland's back line's stretched, and that's what happens. You know, you're playing against good players, you're taking a few chances, you're asking, you know, full-back, certainly Robertson, to go on as much as possible. So there are going to be a couple of gaps at the back, but Scotland have to take those chances now, and that's what the fans want to see them do. Take a little bit of a chance, get more players forward, and if you lose a goal while doing that, well, so be it. You're getting beaten anyway.
Clearance by Angus Gunn, who has been beaten twice tonight. Not an awful lot he could do about either goals. Here's Lewandowski, 15 yards outside the penalty area. He's supported by Szymanski. He's the Pole who scored that early goal. Zalewski here, tricky feet into the penalty area, tries to clip it to the far post, and Robertson was there shielding the ball away, putting it out for a Poland corner as they look to re-establish their 2-goal lead here at Hampden tonight. Almost an hour played here.
Yeah, they're constantly going down that left wing. Zalewski particularly, he's getting lots and lots of ones against Ralston, and he's getting the ball in space and be able to run at Ralston, and Ralston doesn't want to take a chance. If you dive in and it's in the box, it's another penalty kick. So he's actually getting very easy crosses in here. The winger, or the full-back flying winger.
Zielinski of Inter Milan takes the corner, but it's not a good one. It doesn't beat the first defender. Robertson clears it out for a throw into Poland. Level with the edge of the penalty area that they attack. This is the opening night of Group A1 in the Nations League. Full house at Hampden. In a much better mood now after that Billy Gilmour goal. Poland have it just outside the Scotland penalty area. Valukiewicz Into the centre of defence, Jan Bednarek of Southampton. Davidovic, who got in that tangle with Lyndon Dykes in the first half and picked up a yellow card as a result. There's a good ball over the top and clips the heel of Lewandowski. That was unfortunate. Piątek will try and keep the move alive here for Poland. They still have possession inside the final third. Zielinski to the near side, to Frankowski. There's oohs in the background, all coming for the Poland fans. Cross comes in, too close to Angus Gunn, and the Poland goalkeeper holds it firm.
He did, but that's much better play for the Poles. They've lifted it a little bit shell shocked when they lost that goal early in the second half. I thought it looked as if they felt they were on for a cruise for 45 minutes. Well, that's not the case, but again, they've lifted themselves. They're doing a little bit better now, a little bit stronger, but it's up to Scotland to try and get another little phase of play forward, and they're getting it now.
Still over half an hour to go. Christie rolls it in front to McTominay. Two central defenders with him. Bednarek was strong, sliding in to get there first. Poland regained possession inside their own half. With proper competitive feel to this, and you can say what you like about Nations League, and boy is it complicated, but this is much better than had it been an international friendly that meant absolutely nothing. This feels like a proper game.
Absolutely is, and the effort put in by other players in Scotland and the Poles has been very good.
Lewandowski just outside the D, gives it to Szymanski, tries again. Oh, that was so close. That is his range. 5 yards outside the penalty area. Scored a brilliant goal from there in the first half. Nearly bent one into the top corner there.
Well, this is so un-Stevie Clark, this Scotland performance, because they have to be wide open. The game has to be long. There has to be a lot of space if Scotland are going to take these chances. But you're going to get chances against you as well. And it's so against his natural way and Scotland's natural way of playing. And it could go either way, this. You wouldn't be surprised if Scotland got something. And if you got something, you wouldn't be surprised again if it came from Scott McTominay, because honestly, watching him tonight, what a player he has been for the national team.
I'm sure most of our listeners are aware of Jack Draper and what he's been up to at the US Open. He's into the semi-final tomorrow. You can listen to that live on 5 Live from 8 p.m. Wales against Turkey in the Nations League will be on Sports Extra at 7:45. Earlier than that, the third test starts tomorrow at the Oval, ball by ball from 10:25 on TMS. And there is also American football to tell you about coming up over the weekend. Dallas Cowboys at Cleveland Browns. That is Sports Extra on Sunday evening. Here in Glasgow, Hampden Park, Scotland have come from 2-0 down to trail 2-1 against Poland. Steve Clarke's team trying to keep up the momentum here as they force fellow Kiewicz back to his own byline. Very calm though from Piotr Zielinski. Zielinski, who is a class operator, very much one of the big names in Serie A in recent seasons. Won the title with Napoli, campaign before last, joined Inter Milan this summer. And he's dropped back and relieved a lot of. Whenever Scotland press up and they're putting the Polish defenders under pressure, he slots in and suddenly it's like five-a-side. He can just pick it up and swing a few shoulders and pick out passes and get them moving again and really dissipate that pressure. There's a nice little back heel by Urbanski on the far side. Lewandowski tries to bring it into the penalty area. Ball ends up on the back of the net, but it had left the field of play first. Lewandowski went out over the byline before he pulled it back for Piątek, who did side foot into the empty net.
Well, as we creep by the hour mark here, you start looking down, and when Stevie Clarke, with 5 substitutes all warming up, and he didn't look around at any one time until now. He's looked round and he said, get a real warm up now, and I'm trying to see who that is, and I have a suspicion it should be Doak, because if you've got McGinn a little bit injured and you're wanting some pace, and ask a different question. I know it's a long shot for a young player who's brand new to the international setup, but we know he's got pace and he might ask a different question.
Poland have possession inside their own half. Zielinski gives it to the edge of the box. Strong crunching challenge goes in on Szymanski there, but Poland hold on to possession and a cross comes in and Lewandowski gets up but he can't get a touch. It was fractionally too high for him. Andy Robertson's not been able to clear away for Scotland. Zielinski has it again for Poland outside the D of the penalty area that they attack. Poland play from left to right as we look down in this second period. Poland all in red, Scotland in their navy blue. Nice 1-2 played by Zielinski, but then he can't bring it with him towards the penalty area. Kenny McLean was back hovering. Robertson will roll it back to Gunn, and Scotland look to set themselves in motion again with a clearance towards John McGinn, who's challenged from behind and fouled from behind, and that's a free kick to Scotland just inside their own half.
Scotland needed that big time because they've just turned up the dial, the Poles. controlling the game now, passing it really well. It's one of those classic moments. They've had 5 minutes where they look as if they've got at least one man more in the field than Scotland have got just now. So the balance of power in this game again is shifted towards the Poles. They know that they're in a game now, so they're certainly not taking it easy. And this is when you start looking at your bench, particularly for Stevie Clarke. Something might have to change in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, Scotland could do with just a fresh idea or a fresh pair of legs here. Ryan Christie is shuffled away back into his own half. Little nudge on the back by Sebastian Velokiewicz. Scotland have it with Scott McKenna midway inside his own half, just left of centre, and turns under pressure from Piętek. He'll roll it back to the goalkeeper, Angus Gunn, wearing bright yellow. The high press again from Poland as they look to crowd Scotland in defence here and keep them at bay. Gunn is forced to clear it long. That's an easy pick for Davidovich. Nice work though from Anthony Ralston, who I've been impressed with tonight, winning the ball. He did give away the penalty in the first half, but in open play he's been good.
Do you know, very noticeable there, he was applauded just for the tackle there. And it's because Scotland fans know, for all the difficult times, and it's hard sometimes for him out there, they know his work rate. They know he's a wholehearted player, will give everything to the nation, and to be honest, he will do the best he possibly could in that position, even though he's not first choice, and that's why he gets applauded.
Worth mentioning who's not here for Scotland tonight. Kieran Tierney still injured after that problem he got at the Euros. Callum McGregor's retired from international football, 63 caps, just 31, but he has moved on. Che Adams, who's playing in Italy now with Torino, played for them at the weekend, picked up a knock. He withdrew this week. James Forrest withdrew after the Old Firm derby, so too did Greg Taylor. Robbie McCrory, the goalkeeper, withdrew. Jack Hendry was not selected. Liam Kelly was not selected. Then there's a whole host of players who don't have clubs at the moment. Stuart Armstrong, Liam Cooper, Ryan Jack. As McTominay comes forward for Scotland, shot on target, but it's a daisy cutter from outside the area. Never really caught hold of that. It's on target, but it was never going to beat Bulka.
It opened up from there. I mean, great play there by Robertson. Didn't get the ball, but he flew past and developed all the space there. Christie very, very similarly. For all the positives about Scott McTominay, that's maybe not his biggest strength there, scoring from 20 yards.
So for joining our coverage late here, Szymanski put Poland ahead early. Brilliant strike from outside the penalty area. McTominay thought he'd equalised, but it was disallowed for handball. Lewandowski then scored a penalty just before the break. Scotland have got back into it with a Billy Gilmore goal right at the start of this second period. 25 minutes plus to go. Free kick to Scotland on the edge of their own penalty area. Poland certainly aren't wilting.
No, they are not wilting. They look a little bit stronger than Scotland at the moment, and they're pressing high there. Gunn was almost caught in the ball there, had to get a nutmeg to get away with it there, and Ralston similarly almost caught as well. So the Poles are pressing high, but for Scotland maybe that'll create a little bit of space in midfield and up the park that they can use.
Northern Ireland got off to a very good start in Belfast this evening against Luxembourg. They'll be midway through the second half or thereabouts now. Here's the latest from John Southall.
Well, they're still doing well, Conor. They lead Luxembourg by 2-0. Should be 3 though. Conor Bradley threw it through on goal on the right hand side, pushed it wide of the left hand post. Northern Ireland 2, Luxembourg 0.
Thanks very much, John. Scotland 1, Poland 2 here. Andy Robertson with the bright luminous captain's armband on his left arm, plays it to the feet of Ryan Christie. Cut back ball for Gilmore, 5 yards into the penalty area. Disappointing delivery. McTominay was the target of the far post, but it barely got 3 feet off the ground. Ralston keeps it in play on the far side. He sends it back in. That's not a bad delivery. Missed by the first defender too. Frankowski just misjudged the ball in flight there. Christie will try and swing it back in again, too high. Not the first time tonight that's happened. Scotland into good positions, but the cross is too high.
Yeah, but you need people to find in there, and when the ball goes in there, you've got Dykes is going to either make the front post or the back post. He goes to the front post twice in a row there. Someone has to get in behind him. No one there at all, but 2 or 3 occasions there. Scotland, after wilting for a period, they're back. It's gone a bit too through. Scotland will have an attack, have 3 or 4 minutes worth of really strong play. Then the Poles have had their period. This game is definitely not finished yet.
Portugal still leading 2-1 at home to Croatia. Scotland, who travelled to Lisbon the weekend. Scotland, who will have a couple of games in October and November as well. That's when it comes to the end of the group stage of the Nations League. There's a new Nations League quarter-finals in March, which they'll hope to be part of if they can finish in the top 2. And the Nations League finals next summer, venue to be determined depending on which of the 4 teams get through to those semi-finals and final. Here is Peter Zielinski, bang on the halfway line for Poland. Velokiewicz on the right-hand side. A cut in by Frankowski. He'll give it back to Urbanski. Urbanski, who plays in Italy with Bologna. He's a teenager, only for another couple of days. Turns 20 next week. Poland get into a crossing position. Zalewski from the left-hand side. His attempt is blocked. Out it goes. Corner to Poland. Midway now through the second half at Hampden.
Well, it's a bit of a shock to me, but I think Stevie Clarke's going to make 3 changes, which is a bit of a surprise. Maybe Shankland coming on for Dykes isn't a surprise. He's not the brilliant start to the season, Shankland, but he did have an amazing season last season for Hearts. But if you make 3 changes, that's a big call for Stevie Clarke.
So new legs coming, Ben Doak amongst them. Shankland, who turned 29 last month. Scotland trying to keep up their return into this game as the Poland corner comes in, and there's some pushing in there, but the pushing by the Poles. Free kick to Scotland, chance to relieve the pressure back there.
Yeah, it's if you're just about to come on as a substitute and it's 2-1 down, you think I can do something here. You just don't want another goal to go in while you're waiting to come on there and the game's finished. Happily, Scotland will be able to cope with that. Player down injured, and Stevie Clarke will have plenty of time now to consider those changes and whether he wants to make them all now.
So long awaited international debut for Ben Doak, a player who there's been much anticipation for at Liverpool, where he was given his debut and his first few outings in the first team under Jurgen Klopp. He was unlucky with injuries just as he was getting a run for Liverpool. He had injury problems, ended up missing out on Euro 2024 as a result. He would have been in the Scotland squad otherwise. There's McGinn's ball, pumped over the top. Dykes goes searching after it, just outside the penalty area left-hand side, but there's no getting away from Velokiewicz. Scotland regained possession though with Robertson. Left-hand side, Gilmour is with him. There are 3 Scotland players in the box. There's another couple loitering on the edge. Robertson sends it, disappointing by his standards though. Low ball in, comfortably cleared away.
Yep, getting in good positions again, real liveliness about the play. You could see Dykes probably knows he's going to come off in the next few minutes. He was desperate for that ball to come in the middle. Not enough height in the pass, but once again, after a little bit of quiet spell there, Scotland are getting forward, but they're exhausting yourself. And watching Andy Robertson try to get back here, he has put so much effort in, but he'll get another burst of energy in a minute.
It looks like Ryan Gold is going to be brought on for his international debut too. Vancouver Whitecaps player. He's got 9 goals for them so far this season. Ryan Gold, who was called up to a Scotland squad 10 years ago, never got to make an appearance to earn a cap, and here he is a decade later getting his chance at the age of 28. Scotland have it with Robertson just over the halfway line. Scotland a goal down at home. McLean to McTominay, just outside the penalty area left-hand side. That's a really good ball. McGinn threw himself out at far post, got it back into a danger area. It was Dykes actually who tried to head it back into the centre. Poland so grateful just to clear that away. They were under immense pressure there. That was much more like it with the delivery.
Lauren Shankland's down there thinking, please let me on. The balls, the crosses are coming into that centre forward area, and I mean he's superb at that usually, so he's going to get his chance now, and he's the first one on for Lyndon Dykes.
Straight swap up top. Lawrence Shankland comes on for the new Birmingham City signing Lyndon Dykes. Dykes, who hit the side netting with a shot in the first half, did really well to pull that back into the centre just moments ago. And then the other 2 coming on are debutants, and maybe, just maybe, Pat, in the years to come, we'll be telling people that we were there the night that Ben Doak and Ryan Gold made their international debuts, and what successes they were done to be.
Yeah, well, I kind of hope so for Gold. I mean, Gold's a really good technical player. So he's a player you'll enjoy watching. You know, if he can get on the ball in a little bit of space, he can see passes. So he's a special player in that way. It's the sort of player Scotland have not had for a long time, since maybe all the way back to James McFadden or something like that, you know. So he needs to get on the ball, he needs to pick out a few passes, but let's see if we can see the pace of Doak. That's the big thing which these Scotland fans have been waiting for.
Right, Poland are making changes to Jakub Piotrowski will come on. He plays with Ludogorets. He is a midfielder, the number 6, and they bring on Adam Buska, who plays in Denmark with Midtjylland. He came on as a sub against Scotland the last time that Poland played here at Hampden a year and a half ago. But a lot of draws between these two in recent times when they've met, and can Scotland get back on level terms with an equaliser, trailing as they do here by 2-1? Departing the field, Krzysztof Piatek is coming off, so Buska will replace him. Buska forward, he'll join Lewandowski at the spearhead of the Polish attack.
Yeah, lots of changes made, and you don't really know which way it's going to go now. I think there's a little bit of concern for that Polish group. I thought they got back into it and maybe thought they were going to control of the game. But you have no idea what to expect of some of these players. They've never played at this level before. In particular, I'm desperate to see if Doak can get the ball with a little bit of space and a chance to run.
Yeah, Lewandowski's actually the other player who's gone off for Poland, so they've taken off the two strikers, Piotrowski and Buska, the two on in their place. But much attention here on Ben Doak and Ryan Gauld, a Canadian friend of mine who watches Vancouver Whitecaps. He said, and I won't do the accent, Pat, but he said to me before the Euros, he said, how good are Scotland if Ryan Gauld doesn't get in their squad? That's how highly he rated them.
When he first came through at Dundee United, he was seen and expected to be a very, very, very special player. Now the referee's got a problem here. I think it's going to be one of those technical ones. He's come over to the side here. But when he came through at Dundee United, the expectation, the classically we were saying possible Scottish Messi, which was so unfair in any player to do that at all. But he was clearly one of these players that, if he starts in a 10 position, he can control play, he sees passes, he's an intelligent player. And in many ways, without being offensive to Scottish football, probably better suited to going to somewhere like Portugal or Spain. He went over there, and the expectation was within 2 or 3 years he would be starring for Scotland and being one of our greats, and it just never happened. So it's happening now. He's got a little bit of a chance. I just hope he gets a little bit of chance with the ball at his feet in the last third as well.
Well, those three have come on as a new look front three. Shankland through the middle, Doak and Gauld either side of them, McTominay, McGinn, Gilmour still on the field. The players who went off for Scotland were Kenny McLean, Ryan Christie and Lyndon Dykes. The referee has sorted out his issue, which presumably was to do with his communication device. Fresh batteries probably, happens to us all. And suitably charged up again. Glenn Nieberg is able to re-enter the fray. We've got just over a quarter of an hour of regulation time to go on the clock. There'll be at least 5 minutes added onto that, you would imagine. Can Scotland salvage what had been a 2-goal deficit in a very disappointing mood around here at half-time? Could they still turn this into a brighter evening for Steve Clarke, as a header by Ryan Gauld tries to flick it infield towards a teammate, but Bednarek is able to intercept for Poland, and he just calmly side foots it back to the goalkeeper Marcin Bulka.
Yeah, it's you say it's a very different look to it, but the system, the style stayed exactly the same. McGinn's just gone a little bit further back. He'll play alongside Billy Gilmour, which I think would suit him much better today, because I don't really think you're getting all the energy from McGinn today, but he's a clever player when he's static with the game in front of him.
Gauld gives a short pass to McGinn. Robertson now level with the edge of the penalty area. The Scotland attack. Gauld continued his run into the area, and Gilmour nearly found him. That was good movement from Ryan Gauld here on his international debut. Poland sitting deep at the moment. Plenty red shirts back behind the ball. Scotland winning in the midfield. Good work from McGinn. McTominay out towards Ben Doak. Here he goes. First time in international football. Ben Doak with the white boots. Low pass to Rolls in the area. Put it back for McTominay! Scotland make it 2-2! Welcome to international football, Ben Doak. He was involved in the build-up there. Credit to Ralston on the overlap. And who else but Scott McTominay? Goal disallowed in the first half. This one's going to count. And from 2-0 down, Scotland are back on level terms.
Oh, wow. If you come on for your international debut, and the first time you get in the ball, you drag two defenders, you slip a beautiful ball through. Brilliant underlapping, of course, from Ralston. Of course, Doak and Ralston know each other because they were both with Celtic. Ball played into the goal line and passed back, and staying all the way through the game. Got to get to the byline. McTominay gets there, and that goal's been awarded. And Scotland aren't going to stop here.
2-2. Is there time for a winner? Frankowski comes forward for Poland. They can't believe what's happening. I mean, they were doing victory laps at half-time. 2-0 up. It was done. But Scotland have dug deep. They have found something. They've shown spirit. They've been urged on by over 50,000 at Hampden tonight. And they've got it back deservedly to 2-2. And Poland are rattled. They can't even take a throw in now.
Do you know that? This is pure theatre. At the beginning of the game, it was dull. Half time, there were some boos from the Scotland fans. And now listen to it, we're all back again. Oh, it's fantastic.
From 2-0 down to 2-2. Robertson, halfway line for Scotland, playing from right to left as we look down. McGinn spins one out to the near wing, but it's way too high and too far in front of Ryan Gold. And that goes out for a throw-in to Poland.
Good as someone, they told me the goal Scotland just scored there. Don't get the ball, 1-on-1 with a defender. I thought, right, leave him alone. And I saw Ralston running inside him. Don't do that. You're getting in his way. Oh dear. You know what you're doing. You've worked together. This is an underlap rather than an overlap. And it worked beautifully and set up the goal.
So I make that 9 goals in his last 11 starts for Scotland for Scott McTominay.
That's Ronaldo stuff.
That is, speaking of Ronaldo, former Manchester United, that's the kind of player Manchester United could do within their midfield, isn't it?
Yeah. Fantastic.
So when he's a Napoli man now, and news of that will be warmly welcomed in those parts of Italy. Scott McTominay, so often in the right place at the right time for Scotland. Free kick, left full-back position, taken by Andy Robertson. 2-2.
By the way, the reason why he's in the right place at the right time is because he played in the right position. And it should never happen to him, or very rarely ever happen to him, Manchester United, until Stevie Clark started playing him this much further forward.
His height, his athleticism, his eye for goal have all been very apparent in Scotland colours. Poland out of the back, but they look so rattled. They've taken off Lewandowski too, remember. They took him off when it was 2-1. Here's McGinn, who's found a second win. Gives it to McTominay, sprinting from the centre circle towards the D. Scott McTominay into the area, and he's just held up. Davidovic, I thought he was going to shoot there. That would have been something else from McTominay. He ran 40 yards with the ball. Gilmour now gets it back. There's a Scotland player down here to the far side. Play continues. Goal for Andy Robertson on his 75th cap, and it's blocked by a defender. Valukavcic on the edge of the area. There's a Scotland player down, I think it's Ralston, and play will be held up to see if he's okay.
Yeah, 2 players went down there. I think he was actually tackled by Doak. So both of them are actually down there injured there. Scotland were down to 9 men and they didn't stop. They just kept on going, trying to score that goal there. And it shows us a real positive feeling. Doak's gone down. I think it's his ribs that are the problem there. He's gone to tackle and he's catapulted into his former teammate and his current international teammate there. Hurt both of them. Hope they can both manage it, because they have worked well together since they've both been playing together here.
Hard to sort of describe that. They've connected with a very kind of unusual angle. It's sort of rib cage into rib cage sideways from 2 teammates there, and at the very least winded, and they'll hope it's nothing more than that. Just over 10 minutes of normal time to play. Nobody's looking towards the exit at Hampden. I mean, this is set to be a thrilling finish, the way Scotland have grown in stature from being 2-0 down.
And you couldn't see it really. I mean, I think Scotland were playing okay in the first half after that first 10 minutes, but could you really possibly see them coming back? And this place rocking the way it was, and then the reeling that you're getting for the Poles. You know, they had a 10-minute spell in the second half. They were playing about nicely. They thought, we've got control of the game again. But the good thing about Scotland and about Hampden Park, they generally just never give up.
So the 2 Scotland players trying to get their breath back, trying to get back into the fray here.
I think, by the way,
Scotland 2, Poland 2.
Ralston will be okay. I think it's his hip. It went into the side of his hip. That's not as bad. Whereas, Doak, it was into his ribs, as you correctly said. But that's probably just winded. So both of them back on again, and hopefully both okay.
Now, Poland, having seen what the instant impact Steve Clark got for making his changes there, they're going to make a double change of their own. Jakob Moder, a familiar name, the Brighton player, yet to play for Brighton this new season. They've been great under their new young manager. He's going to come on, and so too is going to be Bartosz Szlisz, who plays with Atalanta in the USA. And they're going to replace Sebastian Szymanski, who I have to say illuminated Hampden earlier on tonight with a fine strike. That's as good a goal as you'll see in international football, way outside the penalty area, bending away from the goalkeeper and in off the post. Szymanski makes way. Who's the other player who went off? We'll confirm all that in a moment, but Moder and Szlisz are the 2 who are on for Poland. Such a disappointing second half for them, having been 2-0 up at half time.
Yeah, but you need to put these games to bed, and they've not managed to put them to bed yet. And a big round of applause there. I think Morgan's come on there. for Scotland.
In place of Billy Gilmore.
Sneaked on, yeah. Another very, very positive move, yeah. And you've got Gilmore. McTominay has now moved back a little bit to be that central midfield player, and it gives him a little bit more chance to get on.
It's a 2-2. 5 Live for the BBC. And Morgan coming on for Gilmore. Zielinski was the other player who departed for Poland. Billy Gilmore smiling down there on the bench. Doesn't score many, does he, for club or country? But he picks his moments. Scored against France, which is a high. If you're only going to score 1 goal for your country before tonight, you might as well do it against France. Scott McKenna here heads the ball back to Angus Gunn, who's had a quiet second half. Scotland have been applying the pressure. This is Lewis Morgan, another who plays in the US with New York Red Bulls. Back to Scott McKenna once again. The introduction of Morgan, a winger, suggests that Clark believes this winner can come.
Absolutely. You're talking 4 out-and-out attack-minded players there. And the likes of McTominay, who's just been wiped out now. Absolutely wiped out. He's getting forward from that midfield area as well. Scotland have been ultra positive in these last 7 or 8 minutes. They're going for the jugular.
Yeah. McTominay finding himself a closely marked man. Poland aware of his danger. McTominay's goal adding to Gilmore's in this second half, getting Scotland back on level terms. 7 minutes of normal time to play. Morgan on the left wing. White boots. No way past Velokiewicz, so he retreats back to Scott McKenna. Makes himself available again, Morgan. Left-footed ball intended down the channel for Shankland to run onto, but it goes straight out of play for a throw into Poland. And Lawrence Shankland, since his introduction, hasn't had a decent pass played up to him yet. He's hoping one big opportunity can come his way.
Yeah, what was happening before he came on is, a lot of balls were flying across that 6-yard line, and it's exactly where he wants to play. His hold-up play as a centre forward has improved over the last 4 years immeasurably, but he's just not been able to get half a chance just now. But it doesn't matter. You just keep on moving until that one opportunity comes in. He could still be the hero.
Throw in for Scotland. Andy Robertson, the captain, takes it to Shankland. Flicks the ball on. It's laid off by Ryan Gold. And then Ralston pings a very accurate ball out to Morgan on the left-hand side. Robertson will hoist it into the edge of the box. Shankland made good work to get up there. Back helping out the defence, though, was Schliz for Poland. And he makes another interception, but they can't get it away. Poland can't hold on to the ball when they win it. Ralston to the right wing to Ben Doak, but the flag is raised. And I don't know if Doak was offside initially, but he must have done and come back, because he was well onside when he received the ball, but the flag was maybe from the earlier passage. It's one of those where they belatedly raised the flag. Yeah.
To be honest, he raised the flag a long time ago. The referee never spotted it, and that was the problem. It wasn't Doak there, just a little bit slow getting out the other striker for Scotland. But once again, the liveliness of Scotland, the willingness to go and chase everything, and the belief to say, right, go on, we can take this team on just now. Scotland is still playing as a 4-2-3-1, but much more attack minded now.
And the 3 now is Morgan on the left, Gold in the middle, and Doak on the right hand side. And these young fresh faces, the new generation coming in for Steve Clark. To be honest, I wish there was more to go in the game than 5 minutes of normal time. I want to see more of Doak especially.
I think you won't be the only person saying that. Lots of people before the game were saying, certainly our colleagues in Radio Scotland were saying that, we'd love to see the new players and start this new start now from the start.
Here he goes, Ben Doak picked it up inside his own half, accelerates 25, now 30 yards, takes on the fullback into the penalty area. He is Grease Lightning. Then eventually swarmed by 3 defenders, but he made up 50 yards there with the ball at his feet. Electric from Ben Doak.
There was no way he was going to be caught there. Problem is, he turned back in. No need to do that. Should have gone to the byline. He'll learn.
Poland can't get out. They're still inside their own final third. Frankowski back to the edge of the area. Velokiewicz. And it's played by Schliz out into space on the far side. Chance to come forward. Running now at Ralston backpedaling, delivery is dangerous into the box. Robertson takes no chances, side foots it out for a corner to Poland with 3.5 minutes of normal time to play.
And it would be heartbreaking for Scotland to work this hard to get back in. By the way, there's a big shout out to the referee, who's spending a lot of time talking to the side here, and I think they're going to announce that he can't talk to the VAR. If we tell that to the crowd, there'll be a huge roar. We're delighted with the fact that we can't talk to VAR.
2-2 at Hampden. Corner to Poland.
We've just got to go on with it. We can actually play the game, surely. I mean, he's killed the game now. If he walks off now, he's killing all the excitement, the pace of the game. And he's done this. This is the third time the referee's gone up to get his technology fixed.
So across he comes.
If it is
Glenn
the technology.
of Sweden. Steve Clarke has obviously said something because he's had to go over it.
No, it's the technology again.
Of
It's
course
the technology
it is, yeah.
again.
So they've got more equipment these days than a Batman utility belt, and something on his arm.
It may well be the rules, and I bet you it is the rules that you're not allowed to carry on if you've not got the technology to go and talk to everyone. But we used to be able to do this. You know, actually play a game of football, and if there's a problem, it's okay. Hand signals is that, you know, say there's a VAR for a goal or a penalty or something, you don't need it in your ear. You can go and tell them. And it's kind of killed this place a wee bit. Hey,
I think that's what Steve Clarke is saying to him. You know, you've chosen your moment here, haven't you? Just when Scotland are trying to provide the big finish and it's taking a bit of wind out of their sail. Well, it's the same piece of equipment. They've replaced it twice now. Let's see if this third unit will do the job. Right, finally, we can have the corner kick. It's going to come in from Jakob Moder, the Brighton player. Right-footed, out-swinging header of the front post is off target.
One of the things in Scotland, they've taken a number of players off here that, you know, are the tall players that, you know, are good defensively for corner kicks. So that would be a worry. But you have to deal with it if you're going to go and try and win this game. And if you're going to get through any competition, you have to win your home games. So that's what Stevie Clarke's going to try and do.
Final 2 minutes of normal time at Hampden Park. Scotland 2, Poland 2. Scotland were 2-0 down at half-time if you weren't with us. Gord's header out towards Doak on the right-hand side. Ben Doak on loan at Middlesbrough for his parent club Liverpool. Spins away from the defender. Ralston with him in support. Gives it infield now to McTominay. Just inside the penalty area that Scotland attack. Nice 1-2 with Gilmore, and then the shot from McTominay's across the face of goal. It was Gord he played the 1-2 with, and McTominay's left foot needed a little bit more bend on it.
I mean, really intelligent play by McTominay, but Gold. 3 players around him, but he knows exactly what to do. Just flick it round the corner there. Knows all where the red players are, knows where his teammate's going to run onto, and that was half a chance.
Well, there's applause for that from Steve Clarke watching on. 5 years in the job now. He's taken Scotland to the last 2 European Championships. After that spell of not qualifying for a major tournament for 23 years. And we're opening night of this Nations League campaign. At the moment, Scotland are heading for a draw, unless we've got some late fireworks here. McKenna's done well. Here's Gord once again. Plays it back to Ralston on the halfway line. Short to McTominay coming from deep. He chips it out to the near touchline. Scotland's left. Robertson, nutmeg. Gets on the end of a 1-2 from Morgan. This delivery needs to be good, and he doesn't find Shankland. Well, he's an excellent player, Andy Robertson. The quality of his crossing tonight has been below the standards we expect of him, and I'm sure he expects of himself. Morgan, he looks to cross, and he's going to get a corner. Corner to Scotland as we hit 90 minutes exactly.
Yeah, 8 whole minutes to go as well. So, again, the roar when we got that corner is incredible. Lifted again by the fact that there's 8 minutes to go. And Scotland have been dangerous with set pieces as well. What they need now is a good quality delivery.
8 minutes to go. Nobody's heading towards the exits. 2-2 at Hampden. Scotland who are 2-0 down at half-time. Morgan's going to take the corner. Left-hand side of Scotland come forward. He's going to send it in right-footed. This is going to be in-swinging. There's 3 Scotland players inside the 6-yard box. There's 3 more now coming to join. Comes in low again, though. Needed more height. Comes to Gordon, the edge of the box. Gives it back out to Morgan. That's better now. Hanging at the back post. McKenna gets up, and was it Hanley? Hanley who puts it wide of the target.
It's a little bit of a shame there because the first cross wasn't a good one. When it comes out to Conway again, he's too safe with it. You need a bit of zip in. If you float it to the back post like that, it doesn't matter if you get a header on it. You're probably not going to score with it, but you can understand why he was over safe with it. But once again, Scotland getting into good positions. It's a shame about Andy Robertson. He had a cross to make it beforehand. He did everything right. There was only one tiny angle that he could get it in to his centre forward Shankland. Couldn't quite make it, but he keeps on getting there, doesn't he?
These two who will meet again in Poland on the last night of the group in November. Top 2 of the group go through to the new Nations League quarter-finals, which will be in March. And then the final tournament itself, which will be the last 4, semi-final and final, will take place in June. Scotland will go to Lisbon to play Portugal on Sunday. This one ain't over yet. 2-2. Andy Robertson gives a low ball to McGinn. McGinn, who's had a new release of energy since putting this deeper midfield role. Morgan on the left-hand side, pulls it down on his right foot, throws it towards the back post. Doak is loitering, can't get in front of the defender, and it's actually very well dealt with. I think it was Schliz who was back there, who was able to chest it down for the keeper.
That was a really good ball in there. Defenders, fullbacks hate that position there. He done brilliantly to chest it back to his goalkeeper there, with Doak right on his back as well. They're very, very close. Very difficult one to defend, so well done for the Polish defence there.
Yeah, very good defending. Worth reminding that Poland's population 7 times bigger than Scotland. They've got a lot to choose from. We're in the 8 minutes of stoppages here at Hampden. We've played 2 minutes of it, but it is all over in Belfast. John Southall.
It is Northern Ireland 2, Luxembourg 0. Comfortable for Northern Ireland. The goals in a 6-minute spell in the first half from McNamara and from Ballard. Second half, Bradley should have added a third. Olsen went close for Luxembourg, and McCausland was denied twice late on for Northern Ireland. So a rare Nations League win for Northern Ireland. Good night for them. Northern Ireland 2, Luxembourg 0.
Thanks, John. Still playing at Hampden. Scotland coming on the attack. Andy Robertson toe pokes it forward towards Morgan. Cut out though by Frankowski. Chance for Poland to come forward here. They have been sitting back in defence. They're trying to scurry bodies. That's a great ball towards the back post. Ralston got a touch and he played it off the opponent out for a goal kick.
There was just a moment there where Scotland were breaking before that. McTominay flew from the midfield. He was free in an inside forward position. He just needed to be rolled in, and the ball wasn't played into him. Because of that, Scotland had too many players forward and almost lost it. Real shame that, because McTominay, his energy has just kept on going all the way through.
Long ball played towards Lawrence Shankland, comfortably beaten in the air by Jan Bednarek. Ball goes out of play for a throw into Scotland, bang on the halfway line. Right hand side as they come forward, throw taken towards Shankland, does a little back heel volley, isn't able to pick out Ben Doak. Poland get it back again. It's with Velosevich. Good ball into the centre circle, helped on by Piotrowski, and now a chance to chip the goalkeeper, but Adam Bushka puts too much on it. Don't think that was the right choice anyway. The keeper wasn't that far off his line. It sails over the crossbar. Was that a waste for Poland?
I think it was a waste there, because the angle wasn't on there. Keeper wasn't, as you say, wasn't far enough out his goal there. He'd made up his mind before he got through, but once again, half a chance for the Poles.
Poland have it with Jakub Moder. He's yet to feature for Brighton this campaign. Back to Schliz, back to Bednarek, back to the goalkeeper Bulka. Poland, who would have been sure they were on their way to victory, leading 2-0 at half-time. But they weren't able to seal the deal. Scotland have shown real grit to battle back to 2-2 for the moment. McTominay, the scorer of the second goal, wins possession in midfield here, gives it to McGinn. There's a big roar of man on, but it doesn't come early enough, and Piotrowski's able to win it back for Poland. And because Scotland have been pushing numbers up, they could be cut out of the back here. Zielinski into the penalty area, goes down. Penalty to Poland for the second time in the game, and Scotland have been cut out. Shades of the end of Euro 2024 when Hungary got the late goal on the counter-attack. Zielinski into the area, and it's clumsy by Grant Hanley again. So like Ralston giving away the penalty in the first half. Grant Hanley gives away the penalty here, and Poland are afforded the chance to win it at the very end.
There's so much wrong with that there. He's went with his left foot, and that's not a left foot challenge there. You need to get that right if you go with that. He doesn't get the ball. He's not arguing with the referee at all. After all the huge amount of effort, and it's so similar to this goal that Scotland lost when Billy Gilmore got caught deep in the midfield. Scotland were caught again. This time it was McGinn that got caught, broken away, and the downfall has been very, very similar in those two goals. Well, this isn't a goal yet.
Lewandowski scored the penalty in the first half. He has since been taken off. So step forward Nikola Zalewski, who won the penalty, who's had a very good game, but who's only ever scored one goal in international football in the past. He plays in Italy with Roma. He is standing directly in front of the ball. He doesn't want the keeper to know if this is going to be right-footed or left-footed. He's a naturally left-footed player. He's standing directly as if he's going to run up and toe poke it. Presumably he'll shift to one side as Angus Gunn waves his arms, tries to distract. Scotland have come from 2-0 down to 2-2. Trail 3-2. Zalewski tucks it into the corner, Angus Gunn did get a glove in it. He chose the right side, but it was well struck, and the keeper couldn't take it out. 5-goal thriller at Hampden, but it's going to end in disappointment for Scotland as Poland strike late, but emphatically. Scotland 2, Poland 3.
Oh, torture for Scotland. I mean, there's so many times you and I were over in Norway when Scotland had that late win against them and dragged it back at the last moment. It was so exciting for such a long run under Stevie Clarke. And now those bits of luck, those late goals are not going for Scotland anymore. They're going against Scotland now. And again, Angus Gunn, he goes down low and he will believe that he should have saved that. It's just gone under his right glove there. And it's one of those ones where he'll think about that all the way through the night. And I have to say, at this point in time, after all that we've gone through tonight, that's harsh on Scotland.
It is.
I don't think Scotland deserve that. I really think it is harsh on them after all they've given to this game.
2-0 down at half-time, back to 2-2, but then throwing everything at getting a winner, Scotland give away a penalty, and now they trail 3-2. I think Steve Clarke's interviews are going to be interesting later. He has come out under criticism from the summer, more expansive tonight, more forward-thinking, particularly when he made his changes in the second half. But I wonder if he'll point to the goals they've conceded tonight and say, well, this is why I don't always play that way, because I don't want to concede 3 goals every time.
Well, that's what I've been saying since the first goal. if you lose the ball in those areas, Scotland always had cover, always had 3 centre-backs. One can attack it and a couple can cover over behind that. You're wide open when you play with a back 4 if you play the way Scotland do.
It's not over yet. Hanley up at attack. Ball launched into the penalty area. Ralston tries to touch it onto Ben Doak. Goes out of play for a throw into Poland on the far side. What a let-off for Poland for Michal Probierz, their coach, who I'm sure would have got some sticky questions himself in the press conference that his team ended up drawing this game having been 2-0 up.
I don't think there's much doubt in it. The team that looked more likely to score if there was going to be a winner looked like Scotland. It absolutely did. However, it was always on your mind because Scotland was so open, and the pace that we got from that Polish team, that the break was the danger.
All over the other game of the group, Portugal have beaten Croatia tonight 2-1. Diogo Dalot scoring at both ends. Cristiano Ronaldo scoring his 900th goal of his career as Ryan Gold takes on a spectacular half-volleyed attempt from well outside the penalty area, which goes well wide. Polish fans thoroughly enjoying themselves away to our left-hand side. They had been muted for much of the second period with Scotland on top, but that'll make the taste of success even sweeter for them as they edge towards a victory. We play 9 minutes now, past the allotted 90 minutes. Goalkeeper Bulka taking his time over this clearance too. Scotland about to be put out of their misery on a night when it nearly clicked for Steve Clarke's team. It really did. There are green shoots of encouragement, however, what consolation that will be in the short term. It's an opening defeat on the opening night of this new Nations League campaign. Scotland lose at home to Poland by 3-2. The scoreline itself doesn't quite tell the full story. First Poland goal was a wonder goal, a circus act. The other 2 were penalties. Scotland played much of the good football in the meantime, but that's not how football is judged. It's judged on results, and this one goes down as a defeat. Pat Nevin.
Yes, it does go down as a defeat, but it's a hard one to read. The Scotland fans were, some of them, and I mean only some of them, were booing at half-time, Scotland 2-0 down. But I thought they were having a little bit more of a go. And as you correctly say, Stevie Clarke, a lot of people have been saying, can you be more open? Can you be more expansive? Can you try some new players? Well, yeah, you do that, and you'll get exciting play, and you'll get chances, but you know what? You're going to lose chances as well. And that's what happens. So is that what Scotland want? Do they want to really have a dig, particularly at home? I actually think that's what we want. I actually think most of the fans here will say, yes, we've had a go at it. Yes, we weren't enough quality in that final third to put enough chances away. But should we win that game? Probably. And if we play like that most of the time, will we win more than we lose? Yeah, probably too.
Do you know how late the goal was? 90 plus 7.
Oh. And that's the talk to. The small margins in football are absolutely extraordinary. And considering Scotland had half chances before that and putting into dangerous areas, you know, time and time again, your left backs either playing on the left wing or at centre forward sometimes. You are hammering forward there. The players that have come on, most and particularly Dokes, he's looked really, really good when he's had a little chance there. certainly Ryan Gold didn't look out of place there. So they had a lot of players that came on, and you took a lot of risks there. The problem with risks is the rewards are high, but the losses are pretty extreme as well.
Scotland players in the centre circle applauding all sides here of a rapidly emptying Hampden Park. The Polish fans, of course, are staying to celebrate. Their players are over, cheering in front of them. The last time Poland played here, they scored a 90th minute equaliser. It was Krzysztof Piątek who scored a late penalty for a 1-1 draw. Tonight, similar but worse for Scotland. A late penalty for a 3-2 defeat. Scotland have still never beaten Poland at home. All over at Hampden Park. Scotland 2, Poland 3.
Another Scotland sucker punch feeling, Pat, becoming a bit too familiar. I mean, that's one win now in 13, and it's more individual errors as well.
Yeah, you're going to look at two things. Certainly the two penalty kicks given away, they were rash. If you dive in, you got to get the ball and you got to get it clean. You can't take a chance there. And it's the same thing both times. And Grant Hanley won't need to be told that for the second one there. He's a very experienced player. He trusts himself to do those sliding tackles, but he's gone with his left foot when it's a right foot challenge. So you always take a chance to do that. So that's a technical mistake. Ralston early in the first half, he fell for the sucker. He goes to ground, and as soon as he does that, the player runs across him. Right, so that's two technical things. But both of those goals came, the Scotland lost, two of them were lost for very, very similar things in midfield. Players getting robbed and being the deepest midfielder, and that's your defence under massive pressure when you do that and you're outnumbered. So yeah, the mistakes are obvious, but those mistakes happen when you're playing a more open football and you haven't got a security of an extra defender back there. And I think right at the top of the show I said that to you about Scotland, about Stevie Clarke. It's a real catch-22 at the moment. He's getting demands from the Scotland fans, but also the Scottish press, to be more open, take more chances. We want to see this. Well, that's it. We did it a little bit tonight, particularly after the first 10 or 15 minutes. And although it was a more exciting game and we played better and we enjoyed large parts of it more, we still get beat.
Well, it's Portugal in Lisbon on Sunday. Portugal beat Croatia 2-1. You mentioned there that the catch-22. So what does Steve Clarke do heading into that?
Well, that's a great question. I wouldn't be surprised if it was... He might actually just stick with the 4-2-3-1. I mean, for large parts of the game today, it was okay, but maybe you have to ask one of those two sitting midfielders to just give a little bit of help to your centre-backs, and make sure that those central midfielders, those deep ones, don't give the ball away. They are so imperative in the modern game. We all know you play out for the back. It comes through those deep midfielders, those pivots. The pivots can't give the ball away. When they give a ball away, everyone's in trouble. And it was both pivot players. It was Gilmore get caught for the first one. Second, it was McGinnis dropped back in there. So you've got to make sure that those players don't lose the ball in those positions. That's easy to say. That's very, very hard to do, because teams lay traps for you to do that, especially when you do lose that. You don't notice it when you lose it and you get plenty of defenders back. You do when it's this open.
Well, Pat, Conor, thanks so much for this evening. Nope, sorry, you're staying with us. I'm not going to say goodbye to you. Yeah, I'm getting rid of you too soon. Gordon Smart is with us from 10 o'clock here on 5 Live. So ends Scotland 2, Poland 3 at Hampden Park. We'll be off to New York in a moment, building up to the US Open tennis semi-finals. We are going to continue talking football, and that is why I'm keeping Pat and Conor with me. Very sorry about that. England against...